Interesting. Let's see. I'm going to get Kayla in here real quick. All right. If anybody's watching, we're trying to get Kayla in here. I'm going to post I wanted to do a little pre-show, but it doesn't look like that is working. So just wing it. I think you might have to reload. I think you might have to reload the chat, Kayla. I mean, reload the window. I don't know what's going on. I haven't had this technical difficulty yet, but you know, what can you do? So I'm gonna send this. I'm definitely having some technical difficulties. We love technical difficulties here on the Mighty Mushroom Power Hour test. Okay. Kayla, okay, let's see. We're just going to get her to click on the link in the channel. Hangouts. I'm using Hangouts. Hey, everybody. Can everybody see me? It looks like we have 6 viewers in the chat. Tonight, we are dealing with some technical issues. So if somebody wants to try to pop into that link, you should be able to see. Oh, I see. It's not the public view. Oh, yeah. No, it's working. Perfect. So the Hangout is definitely working. We're trying to get Kayla into the chat.
Test 1 2. I hope I'm not like crashing Kayla's show. Are you guys going to do like an interview or something?
Yeah, totally. For the first 30 minutes, everybody just mute their mics and we'll just harass Kayla for a minute.
Got it.
But yeah, chill on the panel. She's having trouble getting in for some reason.
That's weird.
It says, "Did you try inviting me through the app?" I'm not exactly sure how to invite her through the app. Do you know how to do that?
There is a Hangouts app, but I think if you click that, you're gonna have to use your phone.
I don't have a way to. I'm sending her a link for the Hangout. I mean, that's my usual method, but it doesn't seem like she's getting it. So everybody in the live chat, let's help Kayla get into this chat.
There's no way she can
inviting you through.
There's no way she can
be able to.
In the chat room, she can't click that link.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I want her to do. Come into the chat room and click on the link. That's why I posted it.
Dude, I totally forgot that we were going to do something tomorrow too.
Man, if you can't do it, it's fine.
No. What time do you want to do that?
I always do the show at 9, unless
okay.
I obviously, like, because your show's on Saturday night, and I love being on your show, like, and I would never like do a show while you were doing a show. So on Saturday nights, I want to still do a show, but I want to do it after your show.
Right.
It seems like you like to wrap it at like 45 minutes to an hour, and mine's like ended, you know. So
right.
We can. There's been a lot of surprises on the show, and I want to keep that ability to be able to make that happen. Crystal's not coming into the chat here, so I'm not really sure what to do. But let's just make this live, man. So today, how many?
You are live.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, technical difficulties are technical difficulties, but you know, as P.T. Barnum said, cheese grows on trees. Did you know that?
I knew that. And I knew that, like Sean Spicer or whoever said, don't let a crisis go to waste.
Exactly.
Or was that Obama? It was one of them. Rahm Emanuel.
Well, I think it was just about any politician. I don't want to talk about politics because I hate politics, but Yeah, man. So how was your week this week, man? When you're working on, because you have another job, right? It sounds like you do something film related. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm pretty much like an editor, I guess. I'm also like an encoder, transcoder. I do a bunch of stuff. We basically, um, what I do is I edit a lot of stuff for Netflix and iTunes and Amazon. So all the stuff that you see on there is like the stuff that I do.
Okay. I'm trying not to be distracted trying to get Kayla in here, but
No,
we're
no, no,
gonna
don't worry.
no, we're gonna continue the show. So that's your main source of income, and picking. Would you say like picking is more like your hobby, or is it like something you aspire to do as like your everything? You know, like if tomorrow you woke up and you had 100 orders to pack, and those 100 orders made you $1,700, and you did that every single day, would that make you happy?
No, sure, but I mean, eBay is pretty much, well, reselling is pretty much a hobby for me. I would say I do this part time. It's pretty much like I do it just to kind of like pay the bills, put my kids through school. They go to a private school, and that costs a pretty good amount of money. So the eBay and all the merch and just Amazon and stuff, that really helps like supplement my income for sure.
Okay. And you're a longtime reseller, though. I mean, this is not an experiment for you. This is something that really functions in the way that your life works, right?
Oh yeah, no, I've been doing eBay since 1995 when it started.
Oh my gosh. You don't. I mean, there aren't that many of us around that have been around that long.
No,
And I've been living in the shadows forever. Like, so
I'll tell you what was
I don't want
crazy. Like, I came from even before eBay. Well, I've been doing this since I was like 6 years old, if you can even believe it. Um, when I was younger, they used to have a thing at the like the baseball card shops and the coin shops where they would put like a Ziploc baggie, pin it to a big old board, and then there was like a little card next to it, and you would have to like there would be an opening bid, and then when you go into the card shop, you just write your bid in. There's a whole wall full of stuff, and that was like pre eBay, was like literally all analog bidding, so it was pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, so I remember image hosting. I remember all of it. You know, I started using computers when I was like 12, or like very on a high level. And I think I like my uncle bought me my first computer when I was like 4 or 5. He was like a algorithm engineer for Bell South. So they did all like the data, like these data algorithm codes to calculate the density of copper lines and all this dumb shit that you would never even. I mean, he's a really nice guy, but I mean, his job was boring. I mean, he had no stress because he had like extreme job security.
No, that's pretty crazy. Like,
Kayla's saying that it says she's the only one there, and
that's weird.
can you send Kayla the link that you're seeing in your Hangout?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think so. Let me see if I
It's
can. I don't know if I can send.
WJ2G, right? You just clicked on the one that was already there, correct?
Yeah, Kayla can't click on the chat room link.
Yeah,
Here, let
I
me
don't I
copy
don't
and
know
paste
why. Do you
that.
have Chrome installed? We just did a show. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
that is weird. Here, let me post it back in the chat again. Maybe she can click it.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe if you shut
I don't.
it down,
I don't have
shut
moderator
down.
access. I can't.
Maybe it's a malfunction because she was in another chat before or another Hangout before.
Oh, sure. Blame me and my show for her technical difficulties.
Well, it's not your show.
Well, yeah. No, I meant like the show before.
Mm-hmm. It's all your fault.
Yeah, it is on my fault. Damn it. Damn it.
So what would you say your favorite thing about what draws you to reselling, and what's your favorite thing about your niche or your niches or your sales method or the way that you house things, or what's like your favorite part of what you do? Because maintaining this as a hobby is really interesting to me, because even though I love what I do and I really feel like I'm good at it, it's the best thing that I've ever been good at. It's never ever been a hobby for me. It really put full time. It was still never a hobby. So I'm really curious about the hobbyist aspect. And when I had a medical doctor on last night, but we kind of lost him, and he disappeared into the ethers of the internet. So I didn't get to really discuss with him like that side of it. So I'd like to hear your perspective.
Right. So basically, I enjoy, I as the hobby aspect of it, I enjoy the hunt. And then like when I find stuff, I actually like to make money off of it. So that's the kind of like, I guess the hobby part is the sourcing, the quote unquote treasure hunt of it all. Because last year I found $5,000 statues for $50 at a thrift shop. And like those were the things that I'm like, this is the stuff that like yeah, exactly. So it's like it was just one of those things where I was just, I've been doing this for years, but as a short thing for the hobby, it's just the treasure hunt. I love going out. I love finding stuff that like people don't know about and that's worth a ton of money that's just laying out there. And so the hobby part of it for me is literally the treasure hunt.
Would you say that the supply, so you said, you were selling things in 1995 and 1996. I think that the ease of access to products to resell has decreased or increased? Has scarcity increased, or have things become more abundant? What do you think?
Oh, wow. That's actually a really good question. I think like for the most part, it's increased just because like people are connected more. Back in the day in the early 90s, there was chat rooms and all that. And like I literally would scour the classified ads in a thing called a newspaper to look for like people that were like selling like comic book collections or stuff like that. So yeah, man, like I would say like people that are into selling on eBay and Amazon now have it so much easier on so many different levels. Like, and I think that's why I wouldn't say I'm like hugely successful, but I lend my ease of success for certain things to like just being able to like almost like have to do it in the Stone Age where it was like pushing a rock up a hill. So this in this day age, it seems like it's so much easier to do. Anyone could do it.
I, for the length of time I've been doing things, I feel like things are just way more abundant. But that abundance has come with my own abundance mindset and my constant drive to find new niches and understand like pivots in the market. So, as well as I, like in 2 years, Hawaiian shirts aren't going to be worth anything. So get in while you really need to get in while the market's hot, do your business and keep going. There's always those products that are really going to be hot for all time. Obviously, like gold jewelry is always going to be worth its weight in gold, but I mean, certain Kayla's rebooting her phone right now, so we'll see if we can't, or her iPad right now. But we'll see what's happening. She was an early supporter of mine. She didn't even know me, and she's been an early supporter of mine. I really appreciate her. I really appreciate you. I'm doing this totally for fun. Nothing is monetized. I don't have any monetization on anything. I'm
Oh, come
totally doing
on.
this.
You gotta monetize. You gotta monetize it. I mean, it's not gonna make much, but I
I'm
mean,
not. Yeah, maybe later or whatever. Let's
right.
talk to some people. Let's tell some stories. Let's have a
Sure.
good time. Let's get to know each other. Let's chisel away at that image that's put out on the internet, and let's get real about what we really do and how we do it. Because it's unfair to present an image of this industry to people who don't understand it. And like, I don't know, I don't like when all these I bought my first storage locker in 1998, and it was the worst mistake I ever made.
No, no kidding. I never did that. Do you want to elaborate on that or?
It was full of trash and porn and garbage, and there were a few good things, and it took me so much time to deal with it. And then what I did is I went to all these real estate companies and I said, hey, if somebody sells a house, what do you guys do with it? And like some of them say it goes to the dump, some of them says it goes to a garage sale, some of it say, oh, we sell it to this. And I just went around and talked to a bunch of them and said, hey, can I come in and buy stuff? And some of them said yes, and some of them said no. And I started getting my hands on some really good quality stuff. There's so many more ways to do things than are just easily. If it was so easy, everybody would be making $10,000 a week
Oh, absolutely.
on eBay. I've been doing this a long time, and I do this professionally. my inventory is representative of what I post on Instagram. Really, if you go to my store and you look at what I have a lot of interesting, rare, and unique items. Very little like bread and buttery type of stuff. But I really try to represent really who I am and really what my store is, because it's what I rely on for everything. I mean, my child's tuition for her daycare, it my child's tuition for daycare comes from selling things on mostly eBay. Now, like I was telling you before, I do Amazon, but I really feel like Amazon could just stab you in the back at any point. They have, and they continue to do so.
Yeah, the FBA fees, they really screwed everyone on that. And I think we've talked about this before, where you've been watching YouTube for like a year or more, right? The reseller community.
Years.
Okay, so you realize, like, do you remember last year when everyone's like was like ape shit about FBA, like, oh my God, FBA is like the greatest thing. You gotta, grab all the books you can and just send in the truckloads of fucking books and like all that stuff. Like,
total bullshit.
Amazon, well, it was good for a while until everyone started sending in crap.
Now books that you could get like $15 for are like $2.70.
Right.
So
right.
Jumping on the bandwagon isn't going to do you any good. You got to get in first. I mean, there was all this huge thing about private label products. Well, it's like if you just grab junk and you put a brand on it, like what happens? Like you've seen junk with brands on it, like, and you've returned it to the store. What do you mean? You need really high margins because you're going to have huge return rates. I sell like products on Amazon. Really, I have 100% positive feedback on eBay, and that's over time. Okay, I really believe in taking care of people in general before anything else. Like 15% returns on Amazon.
Yeah,
I mean it's absolutely crazy. And I was showing you some fraud return stuff, and it's like I just don't have time. It's even though I do make money on Amazon, I do as little business with them as possible because I just don't trust them. It just comes down to that. I mean, really, that's the truth of it.
I do have some stuff that I do send into Amazon, and like I haven't done it in a while, but I did actually send in 2 packages the last couple days. I think the last FBA shipment I sent was I looked it up this tonight, and it was in April, so it's been that long. Because
same for me.
But the thing is, like, I was caught up in all that bullshit too, where everyone was like, oh, just send it all in and let Amazon deal with it. And then now I'm like looking at like sales rank, I'm looking at all that stuff. And what's nice is Amazon actually alerts you if something is going to sit for a while. And I ignored all those warnings before because they would come up a little pop-up. Did you ever see that when you're doing a shipment and it says ASIN has been like
it's like there's some kind of weird restriction, and there's
right. It's not a restriction. You have to click a box that says you understand that this ASIN is a slow-moving ASIN and it's not going to move real fast. I ignored all that stuff to my detriment, and now that when I see those pop up, I just remove that shit from.
Yeah, because they'll just hold it and have you send it back. But let me make an announcement real quick. Can somebody like Portland Pickers, Jacob? Can you click on the link for me and see if you can join the chat? It looks like something is awry.
Yeah, that is really weird that no one could use that link to get into this chat. That's just weird.
With my email, but probably since it already started, I don't. So I'm really trying to get her in here, and I mean, I don't know enough about. Oh, here we go. Add people. Add name, send invite. Okay, I'm doing this. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get her in here.
I'm in.
Okay, so it's not enough about add people. We're moving along. Hey, you guys. One second. Trying to get her in.
I'm in.
You gotta turn the volume down, dude.
My bad.
Yeah, man. Screwing up the thing, man. Sorry. So Jacob, who has a beautiful muffin head, he only does merchant fulfilled. We actually, Jacob and I just met a couple weeks ago here in Portland. He was doing Amazon merchant fulfilled, and I kind of showed him some real true numbers for FBA.
Scary stuff.
Yeah. He saw what ROIs you need on used products to actually make a profit. So don't. You got to do it. You got to experiment with it. Don't jump into any nonsense without like.
The hype is real.
The hype is definitely real. The hype is always real, but I mean,
did you call
what
him
is real is the question.
What the fuck?
Yes, because I love you.
He's referring to this thing.
That thing? That's cool. No, isn't that called like a jarhead haircut?
You referred to it yourself as a muffin. So I figure if I call you Muffin Head, it's
sweet
okay.
and fluffy. I mean, that goes a long way.
There you go.
You're a sweet hard body. Your girlfriend just laughed.
But yeah, no,
I
haven't done the FBA. It was very interesting to me because just like everyone else, you see these big numbers going up, and for me, I have like 600 things listed on Amazon.
Oh wow!
I think 350 to 400 are actually active because some stuff's blocked, some stuff has restrictions on it. They're suppressed, or they have taken it down. So
the biggest danger with sending things into Amazon is they become restricted after they're in inventory. Then you have to wait for them to process it, drop it down the stairs, urinate on it, have a whole on it, and then it gets back to you in 85 days. I mean, that's my money you're messing with. Like when you're messing with my money, you're messing with my kids' food.
That's why I felt pretty safe just sticking with merchant fulfilled, because it's free to list it. It stays on indefinitely. And, I'm punctual as far as shipping stuff out. So I don't get too many complaints from the customers, even though Amazon customers are very complaint oriented, I'd say.
Well, they're willing to pay a lot more, but they pay that amount more for the ability to not have a commitment to the product. So the question is, where do you want to lie? Do you want to lie in a space where your ROI for an individual item may be less, but you have virtually no risk of a return? Or do you want to do high volume with Amazon in those types of products, get a higher return? Let's say you get a 30% higher return, but you're getting 15. When I say 30% higher, actually 30% more money, but they're returning 15% of your products. Now your average item cost needs to come into account because that's a lot. It's a lot of money. You might have a low cost, but the cost associated with being able to manage those returns for me has just become too much. And what I think they do too is to build their own bankroll. They will totally not tell you that they sold your stuff, and they'll sandbag you. I've had orders that have been shipped, they're out of stock, they're hundreds of dollars, and it takes 3 or 4 days for them to say it's sold. Yeah, they definitely do that.
And they also will lose your shit and then refund you because your price is so low, and then they'll sell it. Well, I don't know this for sure, but I can imagine like they're like, "Oh, we lost your shit. You were like the lowest one."
You're not the only guy who said that. I got an email from Amazon saying, "We want to buy your stuff," and it's like, "Oh, sure. You can't return it though. Like, I'll even give you buy all of my inventory. I'll give you a 25% discount, and I don't want to hear from you anymore."
I mean, I've heard of like entire shipments being lost, like a whole box of where they're like, "Oh, we just lost your whole box. Here's all the money that you wanted for your price. The initial price you put in for FBA."
They espouse this ability to deliver in 2 days and all this robotic nonsense, but I never get it. I mean, I rarely get it in 2 days. That's the honest truth. And I'm in Portland, so I think that they're completely full of horse pookie, and it's all image. It's all image. And
I hate that they
a house of cards to me. It's a house of cards.
I hate when they you send like something in, and then they not only do they split up the boxes to send to different states.
Oh God!
When you send a bulk something in, then they also split it up into different states, and you have to wait for 3 or 4 days before it actually goes live on your feed before they can start selling it.
Well, see, I've been selling on Amazon. I've been selling on FBA a long time, more than I would say 90% of sellers. And so I'm ungated in a lot of different things. Also, I get daily payouts. Do you guys get that?
Ooh, nice. No.
Daily payouts are pretty awesome. And all of my inventory goes to MDW too, all of it.
Do you, are you able to sell DVDs?
No.
I was gonna say, I hate you if you are able to, because I have thousands of DVDs.
We'll build a chair out of them and sell it on eBay.
Build a chair out of them. That's a good idea. Actually.
Furniture, because they're useless otherwise.
No, I mean, I actually do a pretty good business on eBay with DVDs, believe it or not. Especially out of print. Oh my God, I can get like $20, $30, $40 for a DVD used.
What DVD is that?
There's a lot of horror movies that are out of print.
Yes.
And definitely look out for those. And like I said, I mean, you have to scan them and you have to do your research and everything, but they're out there. And a lot of that stuff people just like don't even like look at. But definitely, I would say probably the biggest selling DVDs are probably out of print horror movies.
Yeah,
Sure.
I do like horror VHS tapes. I'll send those into Amazon, and they do pretty well. I also like claymation, like weird claymation stuff does really, really well for some reason on VHS. I don't know. But you know, sales rank's a great indicator, but it's also only a snapshot in time. So you probably like sales rank can vary in the millions in a day. A sales rank can go from 1 million to like 50,000 in 24 hours. So, you know, you can easily be fooled by sales rank if you don't understand the nature of that sales rank and the category in which it's sold. Now, these are all individual item things. And, you know, like when I'm sending in a package to Amazon, it's 90, generally like 3 boxes. I usually go 3 boxes of 30 items. So I'm usually doing like 90. I usually send 90 items in at a time.
Yeah, that 30 item cap, so you can print out that label sheet without wasting extra labels. It's just the label sheet.
Exactly. Yeah, and then sometimes what they'll do is they'll take like there'll be 89 items, and they'll pick a single joystick, and it'll be like going to Guam or something.
Right, I do that too. I'm like, I got 29 items. I got to go look around the house for that 30th item so I can fill in that extra little label in the label sheet. That's too funny, dude.
I'm gonna mute this. You guys talk about FBA for just a second. I'm gonna try to work things out with Kayla.
Sure.
It's important.
What's up, Jacob?
Hey, man.
I'm from I'm Chris, Thrift Shop Hustler. I have a channel on YouTube, and I'm from Los Angeles. You're from Portland?
Yes. Yeah. Are we connected on the gram?
I don't know. I don't know. Are we?
Probably.
Maybe. I think I'm following like, I don't know, like 2,000 people on there. What's your name on there? I'll look right now.
Portland Pickers.
I'll look right now. Let's see. We'll see it live. Am I following Portland Pickers live? I went to Portland one time because Wizard World, I do art on the side, and that's a whole other persona from this persona. And Wizard World flew me out to Portland one time to do a show for them, the Wizard World. And man, Portland's amazing city, dude.
Oh, it's great. And
I am not following you. I'm gonna follow you right now, dude.
All right. We'll make it happen.
There you go. Boom. You are now officially followed.
So what kind of art do you like to do?
That whole world, I'm known for my I guess my artist name is Evilos. You can Google that. And I do custom Funkos, custom action figures, just like custom urban vinyl. I guess urban vinyl is the kind of the thing that I was into. I repainted toys in my own kind of like style and everything, and that was pretty good for years. And I guess I still do that from time to time, but I've kind of like morphed into this thrift shop hustler kind of thing. And I definitely have different personas that I pursue. It's like they're all hobbies to me, you know, like the thrift shop hustling and the eBay stuff. Even though I've been doing it since 1995, this is all pretty much a hobby. And I do art and stuff, and I pretty much bounce around from thing to thing. But yeah, that's
what brought you on to Instagram, because a lot of I mean, there's probably 1 million sellers in the US, you know, doing it, but there's the reseller community seems pretty tight knit, you know.
Oh, I was on Instagram like when it started.
Day one.
Not day one, but pretty close to day one, and that was from my art stuff, because I realized that the Instagram was going to be a huge thing, and it actually become a huge thing. But that's how I got attracted to Instagram. I know a lot of resellers use Instagram to kind of like sell their stuff and all that. But I don't do any of that. I usually just like to post like my finds and things like that. So yeah, I'm following you now, man. Look at this guy. He's still on the phone.
I'm trying to get Kayla, who is the guest of this show, Mr. Thrift Shop Hustler.
I know. We totally railroaded her show, dude. I feel so bad.
Well, yeah, it's all your fault. Let me go back to figuring out things with her. I'll be right back. We're gonna figure this out.
Yeah. So Jacob, I don't know. Like they were on my show like last hour from 9 to 10, and I think that might have had to do with something, with why maybe she can't connect. I don't really know. So it's crazy though.
What did you guys touch base on?
Oh, every Saturday night at 9 p.m. I have a show. It's called Open Bar, and pretty much any reseller can come on. I put the link in the chat, and then people come on and they can just talk about anything they want. It's like a free for all show, and that's like every Saturday night and stuff like that. But my channel is more based on like I have like 30 plus years of reselling experience. So like I share like my knowledge about different niches and things like that. I do some haul videos and what's sold on eBay and stuff like that. Do you have a YouTube channel by any chance?
Yeah, it's also Portland Pickers.
Okay, I'll go and check that out too, man. Right on.
We haven't put too much content up. Initially, we kind of put up haul videos and kind of an introduction to like how we got into it and kind of the little nuggets that we find most valuable about picking, the things to know. But we haven't posted too much content lately.
Yeah, YouTube's a crazy beast. Like I wish I have a full-time job. Like this whole thing is part-time for me. And so like I wish I had more time to dedicate to YouTube. It definitely takes up a lot of time to make quality product. Because what I found that really works well with YouTube is just producing quality material, quality content for the users. So
right, it's a little discouraging when you're first starting because you know you have 10 views and you're like, I put 3 hours into recording and cutting and then editing and 10 people watched it.
Yeah, I know that feeling, man, for sure. And it's just like, it's one of those things where you need someone to be like, it's all right, man, just keep going. It's like YouTube's like slow and steady wins the race. You have to put out quality content, but you got to do it consistently. You got to have your keywords correct. You have to have your thumbnails like correct. There's a lot that goes into like making a successful YouTube channel. But to be honest, like the thing that really does it is just like you being you, and then maybe like uploading every day and like being consistent with all the different things that you do. So yeah. How many subscribers do you have on your channel?
I think 39 or 40.
Okay. So you just
very specific.
Right. So you just started, man. Like I remember like doing, like I said, doing stuff and like no one's following me. Like what the hell is going on? And you feel like, so like you just want to give up, but that's just not the thing to do. So just, if you enjoy doing it. What's up, Mighty?
What up, dude? I am trying to fix things right now. Thrift Shop Hustler, I want you to tell the audience and Jacob, like, even if it's partially fabricated, tell us like a really awesome story, victory, a defeat, something hilarious, hopefully involving a skunk, a vulture, or a termite.
He just left, dude. See what you just did?
He's getting a beer or something. Okay. No,
he's getting some.
I couldn't take it.
Maybe some mixed nuts. He like
couldn't handle the stress.
All right.
Tell us a story. Tell us a story that would like stand out in your mind as something everybody would benefit from hearing, not for it being like informational, but for possibly making somebody pee on themselves.
What? Oh my God. You go first, Jacob. I don't know where to go with that, dude.
Well, I mean, you shared your thing about that $5,000 statue. Is that?
Oh, you want to hear about that?
Is that the craziest thing you've come into? Did you look at it and say, that's a $5,000 statue?
No, what it was there's a billionaire called Sam Zell, and every year since 1995 at his New Year's party, he would make these little music boxes that were called automations. And they're politically driven. They're like, they have a political spin about whatever. He used to own the Chicago Tribune. Like he's a billionaire. Like a lot of people don't even know his name. I didn't even know who he was. And I was in a thrift shop one day, and there was these like music box things in these boxes, and I got a call about, I don't know, it was about vinyl records, and I came in and I was looking through them. They're like, "Oh, you want to look at the side shit that we got over here?" And I was like, "Yeah." And there were these statues, and they were in these boxes, and they were literally like music boxes. And I thought like to myself, it was like during that whole time was like the whole Hillary versus Donald Trump debate. So like the political things were like going crazy, and these things were
pretty recent then.
Yeah, so these things were political. This was last year, and they were from 1995. One was from 1996, and they were politically driven. I don't remember what the whole thing was. It was more a financial thing, but I saw them and I looked at them and I'm like, these are actually pretty interesting. I have no idea what they were. I actually looked on my phone real quick, like to look them up, and there was nothing on the internet. So I was like, these are weird. I was like, I'll give you $25 a piece for them because there was two of them. So I brought them home. I did research. There was nothing on eBay. There was nothing online. I'm like, these
Which is always a great sign.
Yes, that too. I actually have another story I can tell you after this if you remind me. And so I was like, all right, well, let me just look up this Sam Zhao guy. I found out that he was a billionaire. And then I started to find out that he was making these things for New Year's gifts. And then I found like it was almost like a New York gallery that was selling them. And some of them were going for like thousands of dollars. And I was like, oh shit, I think I actually are into something. So long story short, I put them up for like, I don't know, it was like $5,000 a piece or something like that. And then someone offered me $2,500 for them. And to find out I had the very first ones that he made. That's why there was no comps. There was nothing on the internet. There was nothing. I probably could have got more for them because I had the boxes and all the foam inserts and all the instructions.
What?
Which if you ever look these things up, no one has that stuff. So anyways, I sold it to a collector in New York, $5,000, bada bing, bada boom. It was one of the biggest finds that I found. And I paid $25 each for those.
Insanity.
And it was one of those things where it was purely gut, like literally no comps, just straight up gut. Like, I'll give you $25. Okay, I'll take them. Let me go home and research these. Found out that it was pretty much gold, and that's probably one of the craziest things.
What's $25? Really, if you're doing well for yourself, $25, like you'd go and spend that on a bar and like 3 or 4 drinks probably. So
exactly, like, I knew I was going to get my money back for sure because these things were amazing as far as what they were. So I'm like, someone will buy these.
What initially drew you to those items? I mean, was there like
you didn't hear that?
Totally being like real. Was there like some kind of weird energy that you felt? No, seriously.
Yeah.
Highest value things I've ever found, like they have this weird energy to them. I'm just serious about it.
I was just telling Jacob right now that it was the whole Hillary and Trump things that were going on with the debates. And these things were like politically looking. They had American flags on them. They were like, had the elephant and the donkey like fighting each other on the cover of these boxes. And I was like, man, these are actually really cool. And that was what it was. Literally that kind of like intuition that like, and the funny part is like, I'll give you $25. Sure. Get him out of my store. Like they had no idea. I had no idea. It was pretty good. It was amazing.
But that's a cultivated gut.
Yes. And honestly, like, how long have you been doing this for, Jacob? Have you been doing this for a while?
Since I was 17 years old, that was about the first time I sold something on eBay when I was 17.
Yes. He's still drinking. I drank all my beers already, dude. Now I'm feeling like more sober than I was during my show. So anyways, dude, like what I'm saying is I've been doing reselling since I was like 6 or 7. And so I have like so many years of just doing this shit that like, it was literally like when I saw these, I was like, oh, these are something I should buy. And if you do this for long enough, that's what I was asking you, that certain things that you have those gut feelings and you just buy them and they turn out to. Do you have any stories like that? Did you find any crazy stuff like that so far?
I told a story about a jewelry find on the show that we did a couple days ago. But I have a couple other ones where if there's an opportunity to buy out someone who is a collector or someone who had a business, like new old stock, automotive stuff, boat stuff, truck stuff. I am all over that. On the last
So
day,
if somebody rolled up with it like a trailer truckload of truck nuts, like in multiple colors, you don't have to have the same color, but like let's say they were like all 12 colors of truck nuts, and like, would you buy that if you could make money on it?
Maybe. I don't know.
I've been looking for a pair of truck nuts for a while.
Like, are you talking about skateboard truck nuts?
No, you don't know what truck nuts are? Oh my god.
Nah, dude. Tell me,
You
man.
know what truck nuts
are? Nah.
Educate.
Educate me, man.
All right, there's this thing called Google. Y'all heard of Google?
No.
I want you to explain it.
Well, it's run by the CIA, and what it does is it transfers information between hubs of jelly. They store that information in the alien jelly, and then there's this weird transmuting devices. Well, sometimes if you look up stuff on the internet, you'll find truck nuts.
Oh, Jesus.
So truck nuts are plastic molded testicles that you hang from the back of your tow hitch.
Oh, those things.
Yeah.
Oh, I would definitely buy it.
It's called truck nuts.
At any price, I would buy that out.
I walked into an estate sale, and this is totally hilarious. This is my hilarious story. It's about truck nuts. So I walk into this estate sale, and this is in Portland. There is like beautiful china and like art by local, very very curated art collection with like the lamps and the plaques and like some beautiful like decoys and carved marble statues. Very very tasteful. Right. I walk down in the basement, and there's seriously like 900 boxes of truck nuts, and most of them are gold. They're gold, like spray painted truck nuts, and they're like this big. And I pick one up, and I'm like, are these like prosthetic? Because I didn't know what truck nuts were at the time. So I was like, what? I mean, is it like, maybe I had testicular cancer or something like that, and I lost my nuts. So like when I get into like a banana hammock, like a Speedo, like, I really want to present.
So did you check comps on those? Did you pick them up, man? Like, what's up?
They were selling for like $14, and yeah, they wanted.
Yeah, that's way too much. Oh my god, that totally reminds me. I bought some of the weirdest shit like the other day. Hold on, I gotta grab it. Like this is it. It's totally like the truck nuts kind of thing for sure. Hold on, I'll be right back. I don't want to knock my
Mighty
shit.
Mushroom, bringing you truck nut stories every night of the week.
I was scared that's actually what truck nuts were. That's why I didn't Google it.
Oh yeah, that's what they are.
This search.
I'm gonna go back to the chat real quick and see if we have a little discussion about truck nuts going on.
This is so wrong. What I'm about to show you.
Okay.
They were like, this guy had cases of these at a garage sale, and I was like, I bought one. They were for $1. All right, I don't know if I can actually show you my camera. It is a woman like in a bikini, and it's a pencil holder, and you put the pencil in her coochie, and like she.
Medical terms only.
Did you say coochie?
It's a pencil holder that says Miss Sunbathing Mrs. Allbust, and she's busty, but it's a pencil holder, and you put the pencil holder in her vajayjay, and then she like, I don't know what she does, but it's like, I was like, I have to buy this. This is the most disgusting, weirdest shit that you can ever find at like a garage sale. And this guy had boxes of these things. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, what I think is these people are pretty wealthy, and like somebody like somehow told them that you could make money on truck nuts or something.
There's a door-to-door salesman like with like a box of truck nuts. He's like, hey, I'm gonna let you in on this crazy, you're gonna get on the ground floor level of this crazy thing. It's called truck nuts.
Have you heard of Nutrilife or Avon? Well, the next Avon is truck nuts.
Yeah, he's like, screw fidget spinners. That shit's old. You need to get the truck nuts. You need to get the gold spray painted truck nuts. We got boxes of them. And so it was in a basement.
That's where they should be.
There were
forever
boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes. They were stacked on a pallet.
How much do they want for all those nuts? Truck nuts.
Well, I didn't really ask, but there was a sign that said like $1.99 each or something like that.
I thought
But
you said
they were like
14.
no, they sell for 14. That's what I
Oh.
remember at the time. They sold for about $14. Yeah,
I would have bought some.
several. I mean, yeah, I mean, a 6-foot pallet, and they're like, they're little boxes like this big, and each case had like, 12 of them, and there was just like cases and cases and cases of them.
I found a redneck Barbie at a garage sale like a month ago, and it was called Trailer Trash Barbie, and she had a baby and she was pregnant and she had a cigarette in her mouth, and I guess it was some kind of weird like offshoot of, it was some weird like doll, and it was a real thing, and I took a picture of it and I posted on Instagram, and people were just like hounding me for weeks about not picking up this thing. And I forget what it was called. It was called like Trailer Trash. Oh my God, here he goes.
Oh goodness.
Is that like penis head or what, dude? Like, what is that thing?
Wait, so you didn't buy it?
No, I didn't buy it because they wanted like $8 for it. And I guess someone was saying I should have bought it because it's worth like $60 loose, because it is a thing. It is a collectible. Dude,
I have a Barbie story actually. There was someone who was like close to Barbie Handler, who is what she helped. She had I think she was the daughter of the woman that started the Mattel Corporation, and so this lady's estate sale had signed Barbies and like rare Fabergé Barbies, and I had them all. I mean, her entire house, like a 2,000 square foot home, shelves of Barbies of like all eras. And so when I went there, it was still packed, and it was the last day, and they were going to do an auction. So I looked at like the most valuable Barbies, and they were going to auction all those together, like $3 grand worth of Barbies. And they started it off, and I was like, $100. Someone was like, $150, and I was like, $200, and they're like, $225, and I was like, $300. Shut it down.
no way.
Yeah,
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
So I just want to make an announcement. We're going to reschedule with Kayla from Hazel Hearts. She's having some technical difficulties, and I don't want to stress her out or anybody else.
There she is.
She's in.
Start on the PC.
I can't hear anything though, so hold on.
Wait.
Dance.
Stop the show.
Welcome to the hour, Kayla.
Jacob did not finish his Barbie story. I definitely want to hear the Barbie story.
All right, okay.
Hold on. There's feedback. Do I need my headphones?
You need your headphones.
Okay, can I have
Where are they?
connected to my thing?
All right, Jacob.
Okay.
Did you sell these Barbies? Did you?
I sold one Barbie out of that set for $350.
Wow.
And then I sold to one person in California like $1,200 worth of Barbies, which was like $7.
Nice.
Very interesting.
It's crazy.
That's a good pickup, man, for sure.
So Silkstone. If you find Silkstone Barbies or the Fabergé Barbies, those are the high end ones.
Fabergé Barbies.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous that Kayla has an assistant. I don't have an assistant.
Let's meet her assistant really quick. Will you come over and say hi?
I do.
Hey, dude, what's up?
What's up?
Okay, so I can hear. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My webcam is super. I'm on my computer. I'm on my PC, and it worked.
That's weird.
But it's super blurry because this is like a piece of shit webcam, and like sometimes I can like get it to focus.
Nah, you're fine. You know what it is? It's the information that's important.
Yeah. It's that primordial jelly that flows through the internet pipelines that we're
Feels
really
like it's
worried
fucking
about.
1998 with this webcam.
I know. I feel like your eBay package is gonna come and you're gonna open it. It's gonna be a Beanie Baby.
that was like probably the highlight of Beanie Babies was in 1998.
All right. talk to the hand because I know
Can't
you're
get it
good.
to
Don't worry
work.
about it. Paul, we can hear you. We can hear you. Everybody's here to see you and say hi. Thanks for being on the show. Finally.
Yeah, now it's time to get off. So bye.
Yeah, it's getting late.
So
Here's what the issue is. Somehow, I'm hearing double, and it's really weird. Because I have YouTube open. Jesus Christ. So shut up. Go away. So the issue is something having to do with an Apple product, because my iPhone and my iPad don't work, but my PC's working just fine. So
I had to use Google Chrome. I'm using it right now for this.
yeah, I think Google Chrome is the best way to handle Hangouts, definitely.
And I have a Mac. That's
Yeah, me too.
my husband said no. My husband said it has something to do. Did you start the Hangout on a PC?
No, I don't even own a PC.
What's a PC? Political correctness.
That's what gamers use. I have it for gaming.
Fair enough.
I don't do that kind of shit.
Oh well.
That sounded very judgmental.
I know, right? Jesus Christ.
That's Corey in a nutshell.
Thanks
Yeah.
a lot.
Is that?
Yeah, I'll
that
judge
salt
you.
I taste? Is that salt? That's salt.
MK on the Bay told me I was a grumpy reseller last night, and he was right.
He
I
said,
think he meant that complimentary somehow.
Yeah, I think so too. I hope so. I take everything as a compliment.
There you go.
for the salt.
Kayla, welcome to the show. I'm glad you finally made it.
We'll try to get it working afterwards and see if I can somehow get it working on my iPad where you can actually see and doesn't look so
Do you want
terrible.
to do the whole? Do you want to do the whole song and dance later? We can actually do the. We will redo the show. I think it's better.
Oh yeah.
We
We'll
just
do like
redo
an
it.
actual show next time. But after this is over, you can try to invite me to another hangout and see if we can get it working.
Perfect. Yeah. I'll schedule another event and then we'll figure out how to go from there. But on your feed, I saw that you were doing some like kind of major buyout events here like recently. It looks like you acquired like 900 pieces recently. Is that right?
Yeah, I did too. The first one was a friend of mine. She was getting out of the business. She did mostly vintage stuff. And she's like, oh, do you want to come over and take a look at some stuff and see if there's anything you want? And so I went and started looking, and I was like, holy shit, this is like the vintage mother lode. And so instead of just buying a few pieces, I said, can I just buy everything? Like, how much to buy everything? Because you got to go big or go home.
I agree with you.
Business.
Absolutely. Especially now with the way that the internet is increasing people's ability to do certain things. You have to leverage yourself in different ways and figure out avenues and grow your inventory so that you protect yourself from slower times and having that type of inventory, especially that unique vintage inventory. When, like we were talking about before, you might be the only person who has one of 3 that are known on the market or whatever. But
and she had been collecting this stuff for 3-4 years. And she had just gotten to the point where her garage was overflowing with boxes.
So you bought her death pile, basically.
It was beyond a death pile at that point. So I just said, I had a number in my head that I was good with. And then I made her pull out the first number. There's a big thing. Don't ever throw out the first number, guys. Ever. And I've always heard it said is, I'm not going to buy it from you and sell it for you. So throw the first number out there. So I let her do that. I said, what are you thinking? And she gave me a number that was hundreds of dollars below what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Which is why
that
you don't ever
happens.
say it first.
Exactly.
And I was like, done.
Well, if something is a nuisance, so I had a death pile of DVRs they're really valuable, and VCR VCR DVD combos are really valuable. But I just honestly, I don't care how valuable they are. My other inventory is exceptional, and I'm just moving on. I'm not doing that anymore. So they became a death pile. But that death pile was worth a lot of money. And I overheard a guy talking at Goodwill, and he was buying DVRs. And I said, hey, dude, after you're done here, I want to sell you 25 units for $400. And I probably paid like $300 for them.
Yeah.
But he tried to negotiate with me, and it was funny because I was like, nope. It's that's it. You want them? Let's go load them up.
Yeah.
This is my PayPal account. Look, I'm sending you a request right now. You're gonna send me $400. This DVR is like $400. So, yeah, to come from both sides, like if he even knew that if he said like, I'm leaving and I'll give you $100, I would have said
bye.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. See you later.
No, I would have taken the $100. Like I just didn't want to look at it.
Well,
seriously, I'm done.
So the second part of this, and I can say this because I don't think she's going to watch this, and even if she does, I don't really give a shit at this point. But I will just say, when you buy something from a friend, you need to be really careful, and you need to either be really confident in your friendship, or you need to be very careful and wary about how it's going to proceed after that. Because I bought her out, and I took 2 trips. She lives over an hour away from me. So I spent 4 hours in my car going to and from. My husband had to come with me because it couldn't all fit in one car. So we spent a lot of hours in the car driving, getting all this stuff. She starts sending me messages like, you have this one thing that I want back. I started posting things on eBay and on Instagram like, hey, look at this cool item that I'm going to have for sale. And she's like, oh, no, I need that back because that was my personal thing. Or I need you to bring me back an entire box because I want to look through it and make sure that my particular things were not in there. So at first I was being a little accommodating because I was like, oh, it's just a couple pieces. I understand. But then it was bring me back a whole box. And we're talking a huge shipping box. So I can look through it and pick through the items that were mine.
Can you bring it back to me? It's like, listen, I'm going to start processing inventory, and like I'll leave that box for last, but like if you don't come and look through it, I'm going to list it for sale. And once it's in my inventory, it doesn't come back out.
So I had told her, I said, listen, I've already hired an employee. I've rented a storage unit. This is my job. I am not going to sit here and go, is this yours? Is this yours? Is this yours? Like, would you do that with, if you sold this on Craigslist, would you call someone on Craigslist a week later and be like, excuse me, no. I think you have my favorite dress. Like,
this is why I don't sell. When friends ask me to sell something for them, I generally say, I'll help you. I'll help you set up the tools that you need, because then you can use those tools later. But I don't want to have anything to do with selling for things for people. I don't like consignment in general, but yeah, like
don't ever do it for friends. And I will just say,
are really, really hard to mix.
After I got the last message from her, in which she started tagging me on Instagram and pictures of her wearing the dresses that she wanted back.
That's a train wreck.
I sent her a message that was extremely curt, and I said, I saw the items that you tagged me in. If and when I find them, I will send you those things back, and then we will have no more contact.
Oh,
and I blocked her.
That is extreme.
And we were friends. Yeah. Like, our kids hung out together, and I'm like, dude, you are a special kind of fucking crazy now that I have no time for. Like,
well, things don't have value to some types of people until somebody else finds that value in them, and then they all of a sudden it's worth something, and it's like you've already made the decision. If you ran your business by backing out of decisions that you made, you probably wouldn't be as far as you are today. I mean, you have like of followers, and it's because you do business in a way that people enjoy, and you present things in a fashion that is beyond the average seller. Like I follow you, and you're one of the, actually it's really weird, like I've been following you on Instagram for like a long time, and I have no idea how. I don't even know. Like, I'm very new to Instagram. I'm totally new to YouTube, and I like the way you do business. Like, I bought something from you because it was awesome, So.
Well, thank you.
And you sent it to me so fast.
That was that was from her lot of stuff.
Oh, awesome. That's hilarious. Because that was bad ass.
And so
Like,
I think she
never find
walked
that.
into her garage the morning after and went, what the fuck did I do? And
Oh,
then
I'm
she
sorry.
started backtracking. And it's like, you know what? I'm sorry. Like, some of the shit had already sold before she even messaged me and
Yeah.
asked for it back. I was
Yeah,
like,
because you're
what are you gonna do?
grinding, you're sharpening that blade. You're ready to butcher that calf. That calf's
I'm not
dead.
in the storage business. I am in the selling business.
I
She
can
was in
tell.
the storage business.
Exactly. Well, she was.
liked to
It
go
sounds
into
like
her
life was a
garage
death
and like
pile.
look at all of her pretty things, and I'm like, get it
Gross.
the fuck out of my house. I'm done.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So
it kind
there
of
was a
sucks,
couple of
but that's
questions
why
I
you
wanted
have
to
to be
kind of.
careful. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So when you walk into a thrift, because so what besides before these bulk lots that I'm seeing, is the majority of your inventory purchased at retail or from estates or garage sales? What would you say the bulk of your
Thrift stores.
and even let's get even higher into that, like the bulk of your high end inventory?
Almost exclusively thrift stores. I do like estate sales, but I like estate sales for hard goods. I very rarely find good clothing at estate sales.
What initially makes you pop that tag? What makes you pull that dress out? What excites you when you walk in? Because you obviously love to do this, and it shows through in the way that you present what you do to the world. So, like, I don't sell women's clothing. I'm not going to. And there's certain things that I do when I walk into a store. But I just want to know, like, in your little credit, like you're like, I'm the cat.
Yeah.
This shirt's the mouse, and I'm about to pounce on that motherfucker.
Color is the first thing.
Okay.
If I just had to like look and I couldn't touch and I couldn't like manipulate a garment in any way, if I look down a rack and I see certain colors, certain patterns, that immediately sets off an alarm in my head. Like, that's 1960s, that's 1970s, that's a 50s dress. That's now if I get to touch it and I can tell, you know, a fabric content, that's another thing. If I get to look at it and inspect it and I can see metal zippers or certain kinds of buttons, then I know something is a certain date and a certain age. But if I just had to go off of one thing, it would be color and like patterns. That's like my favorite thing, is finding really funky, bright, colorful, crazy.
That's exactly what I look for in men's fashion, like fun, interesting, odd lines, like, you know, really high quality stitching. And I would say like 70% of my clothing inventory is made in the United States.
I think most vintage stuff that I find is going to be made in the United States. Occasionally Japan. I'll find a lot of really good vintage from Japan, like 50s and 60s. But for the most part, it's probably US. A lot of times it's handmade, so I can't even tell you exactly where it was made because it's a handmade garment.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter, because I would say 90% of the vintage I sell is sold off of style alone and has nothing to do with a brand, because the brand is either completely defunct and it's a brand that was sold in Woolworths in 1960, right? Or
the brand image has been dissolved. So I follow a company. It's called L2 Inc. And he's like a big trends guy, and he's a genius. He really is. His name is Scott Galloway, and what he's seeing is that brands are disappearing. Their relevance in the market, like people. There's certain high-end brands that people really care about in a certain way to look cool or whatever, but people are looking for style, and nobody really knows why. I mean, they're doing all these market research about it and they can't figure it out. But for me, like, I ask the question a lot of times is like, you know, what's the average price of a modern dress and what's the average price of a vintage dress in the same types of categories? You know, is your ROI better in these vintage things? Because you do sell modern clothing as well, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a really hard question to answer because it really runs the gamut. There's such a large gap between a woman's dress, right? Like, You could walk into Target and buy a dress for $30. You could walk into Neiman Marcus and buy a dress for $600. Like, and the same thing goes for vintage, but your chances of finding, let's just say, a Chanel dress, you know, vintage is so insanely low that, you know, that dress might resell for $400, $500, $600 or way more, but you're not going to be as likely to find that as you are to find a no-name handmade vintage dress. The difference is even the handmade no-name vintage dresses are made better than any Target dress you can find.
Okay.
So it's,
That's
you know,
good.
but
I mean,
the same thing goes for
I'm just curious. I mean, all of just pure curiosity.
And
but the same thing goes for modern stuff.
When you find a handmade garment, where do you go for comps as far as
we're getting glitchy?
Are we? It looks fine on my end.
Okay.
I mean, there's ways to feel it out based on style and color,
Jacob?
trend.
It's all style for me. I don't really look up comps for things unless it's got a brand name on it that I haven't heard before. Then I might look and say, okay, is this brand something special or is this just, you know, any old brand? But I base it completely on the structure of the garment, how well it was made. Is it a desirable looking pattern? Is it a desirable color? Is it a desirable cut? You know, does it have any flaws? Is the size a good size? Vintage sizing is so small in comparison to modern sizing. So the bigger sizes that you can find in vintage, the better. Because some of the small sizes are like, they'd fit like a junior high girl today.
And then for hard goods, when you're going to estate sales, what are you looking for there?
I am looking for kitschy, mid-century modern, anything atomic. I'm always looking for Franciscan Starburst, which is like a pattern of dishware. I'm looking for some Pyrex. The Pyrex market is this like crazy roller coaster. You know, when Martha Stewart, for instance, comes out with an article in her magazine about Pyrex, the price of any fucking Pyrex goes through the roof. And for like 2 weeks, you can sell the shittiest piece of Pyrex for $25. But I'm looking for rare pieces. I found a set at the Value Village a year ago that was $25. Now, most people would be like, $25? I'm not paying $25 for Pyrex. But it is an extremely rare set, and I sold it instantly for $300.
That's impressive.
I think it sold in 15 minutes of being up.
Wow.
So, and I've sold a few sets like that.
Special. What was special about
it was a chip and dip set, meaning it was 2 bowls. So it was a large bowl, and then it had a small bowl that actually clipped onto the top of it. So you put your salsa on top and your chips in the bottom.
I've seen those, yeah.
It happened to be a very rare pattern. It was a promotional pattern that they did in the late 1950s. So it was one of their earlier patterns. I did not have the clip. I didn't have the little thing that attaches the two together. But the small bowl was very rare and was actually worth more than the large bowl. The small bowl got broken more often.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually, the large bowl would go for like $100 by itself. The small bowl went for like $200 by itself. And then the clip alone, if you find the clips to some of these things, they go for $60, $70, $100 sometimes. Because those things get lost like crazy. Because they're just these little metal clips that sit on one bowl, and then, you know.
That's what I was going to ask. I was like, what do the clips look like?
Some of the clips go for over $100. So it's just like they have a little hook, so they sit on the big bowl like that, and then they have a round circular part that the small bowl kind of rests in. And they clip them together. And they look like nothing. If you found them at a thrift store, you'd be like, oh, it's a piece of metal something. I don't know.
Right.
So it's really hard, and it's hard to know that it's for Pyrex, like, because other brands also made chip and dip sets. So you've kind of just got to know your shit.
I'm definitely going to look that up for sure.
Industry is knowing your shit, really.
And I feel like I tell people this about vintage all the time that want to know, well, how can I get into vintage and how do I sell vintage? And I think it's one of the things that you need to have a bit of a passion for. because there's so much to it. You can't just look at a brand like you can with modern clothing and go, this brand sells well. You know, like just say Eileen Fisher, which is a woman's clothing line. When I find that at a thrift store, I'm usually like, I know that's good. And if it's a certain price, I'll definitely get it. I don't care if it's a shirt or a jacket or a pair of pants, whatever it is. With vintage, you can't look at a brand. The brand isn't even usually there. You can't look at a fabric content because half of the time they don't have a fabric content. You need to know what different fabrics feel like. You know, is this a reproduction? Is this like something that was made today to make to look like a 1960s dress, or is it actually a 1960s dress? How do you know these things? If you're just like straight off the streets wanting to find something vintage, you're not going to know that. You need to do research, and you need to read up, and you need to follow blogs, and you need to look at completed eBay listings. You know, sort vintage 60s dress, sort by highest, and see what sold. And go, why did that sell for $600 and this thing sold for $40? What's the difference? So it just takes time. And I think if you don't care about fashion and you don't care about vintage, then why would you spend your time doing that? You're going to spend your time looking up things that you know and that are easier and more abundant.
I think there's a weird attitude that like reselling is like easy. And
I hear that all the time, and I laugh.
It's hilarious. It's like easy at all, and you have to make mistakes. And I actually make mistakes on purpose sometimes just so I can learn about those types of categories, because when you make that mistake, you're like, I don't want to make that mistake again. I mean, smaller mistakes are much better.
Well, it's easy when you've been doing it for so long, where you have the kind of knowledge to know what's what. And then that's where it becomes easier. But it takes like that uphill journey to get to that level where it is easy, where it feels like it's going downhill. But it's still a lot of work. But, you know, it gets easier as more knowledge you learn about these products over the years.
Yeah.
Chris,
no, absolutely.
Chris, would you say that like you get an eye for quality? Jacob was saying this on the last show. He's really developed an eye for like what quality is and what separates something of mediocre quality from something of high quality. And when he brings that into, you're just getting more money on average per item because of that quality.
Like I don't buy clothing, and I don't do that reselling clothing and purses and all that. But I can tell you, like from the Coach purses that my wife has, just by looking at them, you can see like stitching that is like perfect and like lines that are like straight, and you can tell good quality from shit all day long if you just look. So yes.
That's true. You could also go, like, if you want to learn more about antique clothing, go into an antique store. You know, not to buy things necessarily, because the prices are going to probably be above what you'd want for flipping, but just to look at the garments. Go to a vintage clothing store, go to an antique store, and just look. Usually their hang tags will say like 1930s dress, and you can look at the dress and go, why is this a 30s dress and why is this a 60s dress? Like, what are the differences here? Like, go out and touch clothing, look at zippers, look at buttons, look at fabrics, and that will give you more information than watching any YouTube video, because you've actually got something in your hands.
I think that's
absolutely.
You're talking about asking questions, and it takes a lot for people to even develop the mindset of what questions do I need to ask.
Yeah.
The question is, do you need to ask questions or do you need to gain experience? A lot of people, like, they use this question making thing in order to stop their forward progress. They hesitate, they plan, and they never get anywhere.
Yes.
So go out there, stop being afraid of making mistakes, but be ready for them. You can't just be like, well, I have $500 and that's my bankroll and I'm going to go spend it on truck nuts, and if they don't sell, I'll just do what I have to do. Before I started selling fashion again, I went to every single vintage shop in Portland and looked at men's clothes. I did that for like a month.
Yes. And I think that's a great way to learn. And it's free. They're not going to charge you to come in and look at their shit. They don't care, you know?
and they're bored. They will
Mhm.
start talking to you about things that have sold. You get to know them, and you might actually sell stuff to them later.
And I had an antique booth for a little over a year. And I loved when people would come in and I was fixing up my booth and they would ask me questions. And I was able to tell them, like, oh, that bowl that you're carrying, it's a, Pyrex, and it was from the 1960s, and it was a promotional piece that was only made for such and such. And I was always more than happy to give people that information. So there's nothing that says you couldn't go into an antique store and ask the person working up front, like, I really like this item. Do you know anything about this? Can you tell me more about it? Like, don't be afraid. If you are antisocial and afraid of talking and making contacts and asking questions, I'm not going to say this is the wrong business for you, but I feel like you're really limiting yourself and what you can accomplish. If you just want to sit in your house and not talk to people, like, you can be a reseller, but you can get so much further in this business if you are outgoing and forward and willing to make connections with people. And I see you raise your hand, but look at what you're doing right now. You're here and you're chatting and you're live and people ask you questions. So you're not as antisocial as you might think you are.
True that.
Who raised their hand?
Chris did, and then I did too.
And both of them did.
They were giving each other love signals through they worked out this code, and like he said that he needed a hug and he said, well, I'm really far away.
I think it was something about truck nuts again, honestly.
Solidarity in our
solidarity with people who have prosthetic testicles that go on the back of cars.
No,
Anyway, Kayla,
like,
I want you to tell us a story. Like you obviously have tons of experience.
yes.
I have a really
Awesome.
good one, and
Let's
I was
hear it.
thinking about it earlier. So it's partially my story, but it's also partially my dad's story, because I grew up, my dad loves vintage, and I grew up in a house full of vintage. So we used to go picking a lot. I'm from New Jersey originally, and they used to have garbage night where they would put not just like dirty, gross garbage, but like big bulk furniture and goodies. And New Jersey it's old, right? Like the West Coast is a lot newer than stuff that you find on the East Coast. So picking there was great. There was so much good shit. So I was, 8, 9, 10 years old. I would drive around with my dad at night and we would go digging through people's garbage. Like raccoons. It was really fun. But one day it was, I don't know, 6 or 7 o'clock at night. We're driving around and we drive past this amazing enamel kitchen table. So it was red and the top is enamel, like ceramic, it looks like almost. And it had a beautiful design on it, very 1950s. The table leaves folded out. And it was like half on the curb and half on the sidewalk. But it was a big kitchen table. So, they couldn't fit it all on the side of the road. There were some chairs there too, but the chairs were newer. There was like a bag, like a Ziploc bag of silverware on the table, and it was all newer stuff. So my dad had a pickup truck, and we took the chairs and kind of pushed them over, and we took the silverware and we put that aside, and we loaded up the table, and we had to go home after that because this table took up like the entire back of the truck. So we drove home and we unloaded it, but we had only looked at 2 blocks worth of stuff. So we went back to the neighborhood to go see, what other stuff had been put out. And as we're pulling kind of around the corner where we picked up this table, outside are the owners of the house with the police.
Oh shit.
Ooh.
Because
Where's
someone
my
had
table?
someone had just stolen their dinner table.
It's garbage
Kayla.
night. It's free for all.
And my dad and I had parked and we were going to walk around the neighborhood and see what other stuff we could find. And so we're kind of like a kitty corner to them and we can't really hear what's going on. So we decide we look as innocent as can be. I'm 8 or 9 years old. My dad is with me. We're walking around the neighborhood in the summer, having a nice little jaunt. And so we kind of walk by and, my dad he's the most charismatic and friendly and chatty person. So he's like, what seems to be the problem, officer? You know, like very like, what's going on in the neighborhood? And this lady, she's crying because they had just brought their table outside because it was such a nice night. And they wanted to have their spaghetti dinner out in front of their house. And someone stole their dining room table. Who would do such a thing? What is this world coming to? They just went on. And the police are kind of like, okay, like, you put your fucking table outside on garbage night in the garbage area. Like, we'll take a report. Did you see anything? Did you see anybody? No, we didn't see anything. We didn't see anyone. We were inside finishing dinner. We came out 15 minutes later. It was gone. So, you know, we're like, oh, gosh, that really is a bummer. Sorry to hear that. See you later, officers. Because what do you do at that point? Like, sorry, we stole your table. We'll go get it and bring it back. I mean, I guess we could have done that.
Wait. You didn't bring the table back? What the fuck?
We ate dinner on that table for the rest of my life. For the rest of my childhood. We ate dinner on that table.
You're a savage.
Oh my god.
My dad had that table till after I moved out.
You saw this crying family with no table to eat spaghetti on.
I'll tell you what, I work in the movie industry and I've watched a million movies and I thought like this was going to be a happy ending, but it wasn't.
It was a happy ending. It was a really nice table. We enjoyed it like thoroughly.
It's so savage.
Yeah.
That is savage.
Wow.
Oh
What would have been better if they sold them their table back?
Yeah, is there a reward for a table? I'll find it for you.
Oh, yeah. That's awful.
Kayla, I gotta ask. Was the enamel table, did it have like metal inlay around it, or how was the enamel kind of put on there?
So yeah, it's like a metal table. If you look up like enamel kitchen table, like 1950s, they're abundant.
Right.
But it had like a wooden base, and it actually had built-in drawers, like wooden drawers on the base that you could put your silverware in. And then the top is like a metal with an enamel sort of inlay. So it was white with red, like swirly, curly Q designs. And
I'm laughing at Mighty Mushroom's response in the chat room.
Fucking raccoon.
Did you guys see my raccoons? Did you guys hear my raccoon story?
No.
No.
Did you steal their shit too?
Did you steal shit as a raccoon?
Oh my god.
No, you didn't. You got it. Oh my god.
Tell it. What are you waiting for?
I already told it on a previous episode. Do you want me to tell it again?
Dude, I wasn't there for the previous episode.
Oh my god, I'm gonna tell this story again because it's crazy.
Yes.
Pick an artifact that came from this sale real quick. It's sitting right here so you can kind of see it. It was filled with Native American artifacts and like old baskets and everything. I'm gonna tell the story again. They didn't hear it, so
yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. Hold on, let me grab one of these artifacts.
Oh, while he's doing that, there was like an Antique Roadshow where a guy had a $1.3 million Navajo blanket that he had purchased from like a yard sale or somewhere. It went for like $103 million. So there's that.
$103 million for what?
A Navajo blanket.
My God.
That he found at a yard sale.
Who?
Oh no, I was just saying there was like, you know, the American Indian stuff, a lot of that stuff, some of it goes for a pretty good amount of money, man. Oh, that's cool. All right, so what's your raccoon story, man? Goat
Leather, beautiful beadwork. I find this kind of stuff. I found this today.
That's cool.
So, by a very, very goofball company. I'm not going to name the name of the company, but they have ridiculous sales that really have no idea what they're doing. I mean, they are just the most disorganized. The average age of the person who works there is like 87. And
can you say what rhymes with the name of the sale? Is it Athy? Is it Bathies?
No, it's I'm not gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it.
Wait.
I'm not gonna do it.
What it rhymes with?
Sorry.
It rhymes with.
Wait, you fuck you. It rhymes with fuck you. Just listen to the story. Okay? This is my show. I make the rules. It's my fucking show. You understand? So this is a piece of This is a piece of flint. This is Knife River flint. This was traded between the northern mid. This is from the Dakotas, and this guy he collected a lot of artifacts. I have a lot of beads from this guy, and some. I showed Jacob some of the artifacts. They're in my basement right now. I'm not going to go grab them, but this is like a really prime example. This is like a scraper, Stone Age scraper made of the Knife River flint was like the highest grade to make this type of.
It looks really clean, dude.
Yeah, it's. I wish I could show you a little bit better, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, we could.
That was made last year.
Yeah, this is totally plastic. Ow, my teeth.
Break a tooth.
That was in the McDonald's Happy Meal.
We roll up to the sale, and there's like 100. There's like 100 people in line. It's crazy. What happened with the sale is this guy was like a world traveler and a collector. He didn't have a lot of money. He lived in kind of the northeast Portland, and he had some money in the bank or whatever. They couldn't find his heirs, and the house was like abandoned for like 10 years. It went to probate. It got auctioned, and this estate sale company mostly deals with distressed auction properties, right? Well, it's full of insane artifacts, and I could do a whole show on the artifacts that came out of this place. Jacob saw some of them, and he can get a little bit of commentary.
You should do that. That actually sounds interesting.
Yeah, I totally I can. Maybe we can do like a theme of that. But so there's a list. It's like they lose the list, and somehow I'm like 100th in line. They call my name like first on the 4th page or something. But they lost the other pages, so I just got in first. I have no idea how. I walk in, and the house is like, it's really weird. You can see they like move some stuff around, but there's just piles of beads and piles of old magazines, and like stuff is mixed with price stuff and unmixed price, and apparently they said, and I don't know if I mentioned this first, like, don't go upstairs. Like, it could be dangerous upstairs. There was some water intrusion into the house.
It's like Indiana Jones. There's like booby traps and shit.
It was totally Indiana Jones. So I actually walk right in and go upstairs. That's usually what I do. Everybody kind of pulls around, and I try to get around where people are and get myself kind of a clear area and start picking, So I walk up the stairs, and there's a fucking raccoon.
He's like, what you want, dude?
It stares at me, and it starts screaming. Just screaming like raccoons scream. It starts screaming. It's like bouncing off the walls, bouncing this way, bouncing that way. Runs down the stairs, into the kitchen. There's like knives and glasses and shit. It's knocking shit down everywhere. It's jumping around. It's snarling at everybody.
Oh my
god. And then I just start seeing amazing things again, and I'm downstairs because I stumble down the stairs, and I'm grabbing things, and the raccoon's there. The raccoon, I'm pretty sure it had dug a hole by the back stairs, and it was like coming in and living inside and going outside through this hole that it dug in the stairs. Well, they didn't even patch it. They didn't do anything. The raccoon just bolts through the hole in the fucking stairs and is gone.
But is it true that the raccoon actually helped you pick?
I'm sorry?
He caused a diversion.
The raccoon was actually a collaborative effort on your part.
I have a service that I offer other pickers. It's called Raccoon Release, RR. What I do is I come in with a backpack, and I release rodents, raccoons, bees, wasps.
I love the thought of you with a backpack full of bees. What's that noise? Just my bees. Bees. I need this service though. That's the thing, is I'm like, sign me the fuck up.
I mean, I don't know if anybody saw the Nike haul video, Thrift Shop Hustler. If you haven't seen that Nike haul video that I have posted, it's fucking epic. So basically I hired a guy who actually works at Goodwill to come with me, and he just walked in and blocked the door and pretended to tie his shoe for 10 minutes, and I was just in the bedroom picking out shirts and t-shirts.
Oh my God.
This is like, these are things that, I mean, in 15 years of doing this, I haven't seen one of these things.
No, these are fucking advanced tactics. He's got backpacks full of raccoons and hires people to block doors. Holy shit, dude.
That is a thing in estate sales. You need to take up as much space as you can.
Wow.
You learn that from the
there's
good
this
Really little.
dude.
You puff yourself up like you're a little animal. Like you need to puff yourself up so people are scared of you.
Yeah. Everyone's afraid of me.
And you never make eye contact.
I mean,
I've
make
eye contact with someone, they'll be like, "Oh, excuse me, can I?" No. You fucking never eye contact. I never make eye contact. Like, no, you may not get to this pile of shit. This is my pile of shit.
You are savage.
Oh,
Kayla
you have to be. You with your backpack raccoon.
Oh my God.
Just
don't leave your
Raccoon Diversions, Raccoon Diversions Incorporated. When you buy at estate sales and everybody rushes into the sale, you're like, you waited for 3 hours or maybe even 4 hours to be first in line to get in to get a set of items or specific set of items. People think that I just Instagram. People probably think those are like highlights of what I do. Like, look at my inventory. It's amazing, and it's.
I'll tell you what.
I'm doing like tons and tons of research.
This would be a great thing for your channel.
What's up?
You can actually document your trips to estate sales and like make a whole like video series about your day at the estate sale. That would actually be great content to view for sure.
I've wanted to.
Yeah,
do
I mean,
that,
it's a good suggestion.
Really hard because you're so like tunnel vision.
That's true. That yeah. You want to pick. You don't want to
focus.
With
so
yeah.
I bought this coat, this Oakley jacket, and it has the pocket. I bought it specifically because the pocket is the exact same size as my phone, so it fits right here, just like this. And I did a live one today, but like, so I know everybody who works at the estate sales, and it might be good, but like, so the first live one I did, like everyone at the entire estate sale like came up to me, gave me tips, showed me where the stuff was, and I'm like, I don't know if people want to hear that or see that because it's very chaotic. Like, I'm like, I'm diverting. I'm getting in there. Like, this is how I make my living. Like, we can talk about strategies. We can talk about all kinds of things. But when the shit hits the fan, I'm putting my shield down, motherfucker. Like, it's on.
But I also think at estate sales, it's really important to be very respectful of the people running the sale. Of the home, but I'm not respectful of the other pickers. At least, I mean, I'm respectful in terms of like, I'm not gonna
step over you.
No,
yeah, or
but
put
I'm
my
also
hand
not gonna
in
let you get in front of me. Like, there's no like,
absolutely,
let me
I'll step on your toes. Yeah.
No.
I elbowed this dude the other day, straight up.
You released your raccoons on him?
No. There's a group of 4 guys here. Their names are like TJ, PJ, EJ, and CJ, and they're always together from the United States, and they are exceptionally rude. And like, this dude, like for the 5th or 6th time, reached in front of me to grab something. There was like a sterling silver dragon from like the 1800s, and it had like $25 on it. And he totally tried to grab it right from in front of me, so I just swatted his hand, and then he put his hand back. It's like, dude.
Wait, did you pick that up?
Yeah.
How much did you sell that for?
I haven't sold it yet. It's
you still have it?
It's either with a lister or in one of these bins.
Oh, nice.
So I picked up. You want to see a couple pieces that came from that sale? I'll show you.
Absolutely, dude. Fuck yeah, bring that shit out.
Have you ever had people try to dig in your sold pile?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I will be polite the first time, and I'm like, "Excuse me, that's mine." And if I see it again,
when you get rude,
I will smack your damn hand out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't go to enough.
A bunch of
obviously
Tibetan.
Oh, that's cool. That's really super sick.
Example. A lot of like, this is an exceptionally dense wood. You can see the cracking from the amount of time.
Wow, that's a Buddha.
It's just from time of the wood checking, you know.
Dang.
It's like a beautiful little Buddha.
I have a gift. I have a gift for you story.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, live on. I just figured this.
A gift ring?
What the hell is that?
Is that a raccoon?
It's a
It's a
panda.
raccoon bear, stuffed animal from probably the 1930s, 40s.
Holy crap.
You take it out of your bag and you just chuck it at someone.
It might be possessed.
I'm coming in with live raccoons.
It's smelly, so that I don't know what you do with that.
You can sell that on eBay as like a haunted doll on everything else.
I'm telling you, this is probably going to fetch $30. No problem with the smell.
Holy shit.
He's a little creeper.
I like weird. You can find a lot of weird. You can find a lot of weird Asian. This didn't come from the same sale, but it came from the sale.
Is that like
this is how backlogged.
Is that like a spittoon? What the fuck is that?
It's a poppy. It's got the shape of a poppy. It's a cast iron bowl.
Nice.
And there's get some light on it, but you can see some lettering here. This says
Walmart.
I think it was 16, forged at Walmart, forged 1671.
Or IKEA.
The state says 1671. This is forged according to.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Oh, that's exclusive.
Yeah.
Bring that over here. Hazel, I'm pretty sure you would have grabbed this, right?
No, probably not.
Look at it. It's still in the bag.
Garbage.
Does that say on it?
That's not vintage, is it? 1997?
Hey, man.
I mean, it's technically vintage.
Yeah.
Not
No,
really. I would call
probably
that
not.
retro.
It's
I don't have a hard
too.
on for Marilyn. She's not really my shtick.
But
But
you know it sells.
I don't have.
I don't know. From 1997, what's it worth? You tell me.
Checking the comps right now.
So what was the story on that? Where'd you find that at?
That was today. It was $2.
That's from the
Yeah, that's a good deal. Yeah, that's a good deal for a shirt like that. Yeah, for sure. That's like bread.
I
That's
need
like
to
bread.
get. I got some pot lights coming to get this light. I picked these up today too. They're
Cufflinks? Yeah.
yeah, they're 1969 is the date on them. I've got a buyer in Japan who buys a lot of this stuff from me, but
Where do you sell your cufflinks? Like where do you sell that? Etsy or eBay?
almost everything I buy is like from the 50s or 60s, signed. So if it isn't that, I generally don't buy it, or if it's gold.
No.
I
I
really
meant like
wish you could see the colors on these
That
things.
didn't
It's
answer
light.
his question.
yeah. Where do you sell that stuff?
I sell this directly to a buyer in Japan.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So I sell a lot of, like, we find a lot of Pendleton here.
I've never found a Pendleton in the wild. Yeah.
Did you see the ones I posted on Instagram? They're made of like 1950s horse blankets. I've just never even seen anything like it. One of them, I posted both of them for like $3.99.99. One of them is, if you look on Instagram, you'll see both of them.
Yeah.
And one of them sold in like 8 minutes. So
Yeah.
I realized that it probably was worth significantly more than that.
Pendleton's a good brand.
But I mean,
don't
I paid 30.
Yeah.
Pendleton's
Pretty
good, but you have to know your shit because there's a ton of Pendleton that's not worth anything.
Oh, see, I don't know all that stuff.
Well, absolutely, but there is a lot of it that's. I mean, I sold. This has been a crazy week because I had some Pendleton stuff that I kind of stacked away, and I listed a lot of it, including those 2 jackets, and I sold $1,000 worth of Pendleton stuff this week.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of it that's really good. I mean, like crazy good.
Okay.
But there's also stuff that's newer,
I was gonna say,
you know, that's
what
just not worth much.
what. So, like an idiot like me that doesn't know shit about clothes, like what in Pendleton should we be looking for? Like button ups, jackets.
You want the blankets. You want the native Aztec type patterns on things.
Southwest, right?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't want like
Yeah.
I see blazers and like women's pants and sweaters all the time from the 70s, 80s and more new
Yeah.
they're hardly worth what you would pay for them at a thrift store.
Nice.
Absolutely. And, you know, I picked up a Pendleton trench that was made in the USA. It's a beautiful blue trench, wool, you know, impeccable quality. And it took like a year to sell just for $35, and it's made in the United States. So it really, there's a trend. So if you watch the movie The Big Lebowski, I sold one of those sweaters. This one is like a zip-up And they're from. They started making them in the 40s, and I think they made them until the 80s.
The dude sweater, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Yeah, nice.
So I posted it for $149.99, and seriously, it sold in 5 or 6 hours. So I know that I priced it way too low. But in the same regard, like I'm looking at, I mean, I don't have to make all the money. I just need to make enough so that I don't have to have anybody tell me what to do.
That's always funny, like kind of determining whether you priced it too low or not based on how quickly it sells. Because there's people who had that as a saved search and eBay alerts them, and they're like, that's the price I want to pay. They might be the top of the market. They might be the,
Yeah, everybody might have it overpriced, and you might come in 6% below market, and they're like, damn, I haven't seen one for that price in a while, because they're all priced above market. You drop in, they see it, and they're like, I'm doing it, So also, having a great reputation makes it so that people will quickly buy from you and not have second thoughts. But anytime you can pick up anything that's like Mexican silver cufflinks, if they're dated and signed, and you can get them, even if you have to pay up to $30 for these, you'll make a great return. These, I'm going to sell to a dealer. He's going to pay me $120.
Are those sterling?
In Japan, these are sterling. They're sterling copper, jade, and onyx.
Nice.
It's hard to see the colorway with this light.
Yeah, there's like a ton of things that I always pass up because I don't deal with clothes. I don't deal with jewelry per se, but like the Pyrex stuff, like I'm learning about all this stuff because I'm literally collectibles, hard goods. So it's good to like hear about all this stuff because I literally, every estate sale thrift shop, they always have glass. And I always want to learn like what is the good glass to like look at because there's so much of that.
Pre-1998 Starbucks mugs.
Oh well, yeah, those are obvious. I mean, everyone knows about those. The city ones and all that shit.
Every Goodwill I walk into, I found one from like Tai Chung the other day.
The mega mugs are the really good ones to find. The ones that are huge.
But I mean, I find those that so here in Portland they put a date tag at Goodwill, and I found ones that are like a month old. I hadn't gone to that Goodwill for like a month. I walk in and there's like 5 Starbucks.
Isn't like Portland the home of Starbucks? So
Seattle.
So yeah, it's like the same kind of area. So
it's the same thing.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
That's
from Portland. So.
No, mugs are $1.99. If people knew, then they would have purchased them, but they are still there.
See, my Value Village up prices any Starbucks mug. And like 2 months ago, I found a Sacramento City mug, which happens to be one of the desirable ones, and I sold it for $125. But they priced it at $12.99. So anybody walking the aisles is going to see a mug at $12.99 and be like, "No, thank you." But I know which mugs are worth money, and I went $12, turn it into $120. I'll do that all day, every day.
High five.
Yeah. I find a lot of the estate sale buyers here, they're nested in this. They do overprice some things, but they're unwilling to pay a fair price. When something's $20, like we were talking about those perfumes last night, they were all $3. Somebody went through and looked at all of those before I even touched them, and didn't buy them.
Let's stop the presses. What perfume stuff should we be looking for? I know nothing about perfume stuff.
You want to? I mean, I can show you a haul that I bought yesterday, but I already did it.
Like Chanel, like that kind of stuff, or what are we looking at?
Even if it's used Chanel, it needs to be embossed on the bottom of the bottle. You'll see that it's embossed Chanel. There is some fake Chanel out there, so make sure that the bottle is actually the bottles are like this depression glass, and it says Chanel on the bottom.
Right.
But I'm selling some bottles, especially the 19s, Chanel number 19 and number 22. Some of those rarer varieties, those can go up to $200 a bottle if you're willing to wait.
Yeah, I know nothing about that stuff. That's interesting.
So modern perfumes, obviously all of the Chanels, Givenchy, Gucci, Versace, if they're sealed, they don't go bad. If they've been opened and they've been desiccated, they can, like, the stuff inside of them. They used to make Chanel perfume with the earwax of sperm whales, or whatever it's called, amber. And that stuff, it goes bad over time, right? If it's exposed to the elements, because it's like it's perishable.
So would you say the collectible value is more about the actual liquid, or is it the glass that people are?
It's the liquid.
It's the liquid. Okay.
The actual perfume. If you can find Chanel No. 5 Estrade de Parfum, so you have different levels of perfume. So the highest level is Estrade, which means extract is the pure thing that they make everything out of. Then you have Estrade de Parfum, which is like, maybe 60% Estrade de Parfum. Then you have Eau de Parfum, Eau de Toilette, Eau de Cologne, and all of these have a varying level of Estrade that's diluted.
Yeah, you need to make a video of that, dude. Like about kind of like breaking down perfume, because that's fascinating, man. Actually, I know nothing about that, and I know a lot of people that probably would like to know about that stuff.
Yeah, I would say in the last 5 years, I've sold probably $25,000 to $30,000 in used perfume.
Amazing.
And there's certain things that you would just like. There's certain varieties that they're not the highest brands, but they were made of specific ingredients, and they have profiles that people really desire, and they're no longer made, and that's what you really want to look for. So there are websites that profile hundreds of different types of perfumes, and you'll see like there's a rating system and everything, and they totally profile these things. The Goodwill bins is one of the best places to find older perfumes.
You'd expect that
up there because they don't think they sell it.
Well,
when I go to any garage sale, I ask, do you have any perfume?
Wow.
Weird.
And you get like Burberry, Hermes, and people squirt it a couple times. They don't like it. They throw it in the back of the closet.
Oh.
It's worth $100.
Wow, I passed. Honestly, dude, here in California, I passed so much perfume at estate sales, dude. I had no idea, man.
I don't even usually look at it.
Same. I've had a tendency to just kind of gloss over it.
Right?
Jacob will continue to do that. That'll be fine with me.
Well, you're not in Los Angeles, bro. Like, this is amazing to me. I love this shit. That's great.
Let me. I'm just gonna show you something here.
Do any of you guys do the bins at all?
I went to the Los Angeles bins once, and I said I'm never going there to the bins.
The first time's always the worst.
It is like an absolute zoo there. You got the people with the mask, like literally respirators on their face, gloves, like hazmat shit, dude. Like, forget that crap.
For a good reason.
It's not like that. Yeah. But you used to be able to. So this is this is the first one that comes up. This is a sold listing. This is 7.5 milliliters of Chanel 19, which is a discontinued. It's a discontinued perfume. It's in a little travel carrier. It's 7.5 milliliters. You see that?
Yeah.
62.80. That's sold. And you'll look. So because I'm on the app, I can't see all sold.
They look like little lipstick things. Are they little sprayers or something?
This is, So this is a whole box.
Wow.
You can see that is 14 milliliters. Yeah, 14 milliliters. Do you see the sale price on that?
$120.
And there's just there's just dozens and dozens. These are all solds.
Huh.
Well, fragrances are one of those things that when a woman finds her fragrance,
right,
that's it. She's willing to pay up for it. Like, if there's a woman that bought that for herself in the 1980s, she's probably still wearing that, and she's going to do whatever she can. I mean, not just women. I mean, my ex-husband was very particular about the cologne that he wore and used to buy it off of eBay because he couldn't find it in the stores anymore. So,
Exactly, exactly, and it doesn't take up a lot of space, so you can wait. People will lowball the shit out of you, especially on perfumes, because I think that they know that you got it cheap because it's like expired. You found it
Yeah.
somewhere. I don't know, but it's the most lowballed item that I have. But I just tell people to fuck off, and somebody will.
You release your raccoons, you're like, fuck off.
You know?
That's amazing. I'm gonna actually look at that. So like tonight, honestly, perfume. I gotta look at false teeth. I gotta look at granny panties from the '60s. I gotta look at like this is amazing. This is an educational night for the thrift shop hustler for sure.
Truck nuts, don't forget those.
Oh yeah, truck nuts too.
You know, I have to say, when you're doing the whole granny panty thing, look at estate sales where things are typically going to be cleaner than at a thrift store.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. That makes sense for sure.
The concept.
It's also
of buying
cross-dressers. Cross-dressers really like the vintage granny panties.
Well, the
and if
thing,
you put the word sissy in your title, SISSY,
yeah,
that it makes it
Is that
easier for them to
correct?
find. This is a term
can a
that they
midway-
use and that they search for when looking for these panties.
right. Well, there's a whole like subculture of like the bombshell girls, and there's like the whole '50s kind of like was it burlesque or whatever they call
Burlesque.
it? Burlesque.
Burlesque.
Burlesque. And like there's that whole thing where people are trying to, you know, have that style too. So it's fueling the market for sure.
Yep.
I mean, the only thing I would actually think that you could use those for to fuel anything would be your fireplace. Grant.
No, it makes sense to me. Like even like I was telling you in the other show, like even movie props, like producers and like there's a lot of people set like costume designers. They're always looking for this. And 19th Vintage told me about putting movie prop in certain things in my listings, and I've sold all kinds of crazy things from just movie listings saying movie props, like old cell phones that don't work and like old phones and stuff. It really works, and I'm pretty sure like there's a lot of people looking for that stuff for production value.
Like these panties from the 60s went for $160.
Now is that a pattern on the side there?
They do have some embroidery. They do have a little embroidery on them.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, cool.
$160.
Nice. Well,
hey, my camera all of a sudden adjusted.
What, the lighting?
No, like the blurriness.
Oh, it's all, hey, I like granny panties.
Yeah, I know. It got all excited.
That's too funny.
So let's see vintage diapers here.
Yeah, you were talking about that too.
Let's find the highest price.
Now, is Pampers what we look for, or is there brands?
Doesn't really matter. This box right here. Let's see.
Pampers.
$660.
It's fucking gross.
$660. Those are from 1987.
All right, Walter White, what kind of crazy contraption do you got there?
This is a substance known as whale semen. Have you heard of it?
I thought it was earwax.
Liquid earwax.
It's escalated.
Really earwax. It's the concretion from the spermaceti organ of the sperm whale.
Straight
Resellers
up.
after dark.
And
yeah, right. Pretty much.
look, it really sounds like I'm making that shit up, but it is really true.
No way.
So this is Hermes Estrade de Parfum. It's the only example that I own it, and I cannot. I mean, you can't really see it in this picture, but it says Hermes, made in France. And based on the color and what I know about perfume, I believe this is the pure perfume extract. You can just smell it through the bottle. It is absolutely incredible.
I was just gonna ask, is there mint marks or something on the bottom of the bottles?
Yeah, so this is like depression glass, and it says Hermes, made in France. I don't know if you can see it there. It's really hard for me to get the camera to focus.
Yeah, I can't see it.
But I haven't sold this yet because the value of this could be very exceptionally high, and it still has. I mean, it smells incredible. It's got like the glass stopper.
Yeah, it's like, how do you put
And,
a value on that stuff too? It's so, that must be hard to
well,
do.
you just like you put a value on anything else. Like this is like 20 milliliters, and you could see that it has a certain amount left, but it hasn't been desiccated. This is the, you know, there's no what happens if it dries. There are
I was just say,
solids that are dissolved.
I was gonna say, does it evaporate over time, or how does that work?
Exactly. So when I say desiccate, I mean dry or evaporate.
Right.
And what will happen is, as this line goes down, if it has evaporated and has been exposed, you'll see built up, because as the level goes down. But you can see that the glass, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing on the glass.
Now, what is that black string? Is it like a hang tag that it used to
So
have?
this was the seal. Yeah, this was the seal that sealed this down.
Ah,
So I don't even know. I mean, it may have come with this amount in it. And this was only expensive because this. I believe that this. I mean, I've done quite a bit of research on this particular bottle, but it appears to be from the 40s or somewhere in the 40s. But I mean, this bottle was way beyond what the average person could spend. You had to be like aristocratic to be able to purchase this. It's a very high-end luxury product, and for it to still exist is pretty cool. So
now, what was the level on this? You had different levels of perfume. What was the top?
Straight to Parfum.
Straight
this
to Parfum.
Like Parfum. Like this is the shit that they make. Like you could make probably 100 bottles of this perfume.
Now let me
food a toilet out of this.
Now let me ask you, how do you know that? Like, how do you even know that it's straight Parfum?
You just open it and you'll know.
So are you saying that straight Parfum is like literally the intensity of the liquid that's inside it? Like, how do you even?
Yeah. Do you see the color of this as well?
Yeah. It's got a pretty like dense amber color for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not 100% sure. That's why I haven't sold it. But you know, having experience with lots of different types of perfumes, and knowing that, like, see how it doesn't have a spray on the top of it? Like this is like,
it's like one of those. Does it have a like a glass stopper on the top?
Yeah,
like when you open it up
on the top, you can see it.
And then he drops it and spills it all over his table.
This house smells for
$10,000. This is probably $1,000 worth of perfume in here.
No,
but your house would smell so good
for a decade.
forever.
I mean, I'm joking. It's probably not worth $1,000, but it does have some. It has some extreme. It has very, very high value.
Yeah, but you bring to the fact that we should be looking for perfume too. I've never even thought about like looking for that stuff.
Yeah, I bought 13 bottles the other day for $3 per bottle, and the resale of those. So I paid, I put like $36 for all 13 bottles.
Yeah,
40,
nice.
and the resale on those, because there's Gucci, there's big names, and they're all sealed. They're all from the 90s. They're all discontinued fragrances, and my expected return is somewhere after fees and everything, probably like $1,200. I'll make $1,200 in profit.
I would think that like a lot of these estate people don't even know about perfumes.
They don't know about. A lot of them don't know about anything. That's the great thing.
Huh.
I would think that perfume, from my very limited experience, is probably 40s or older. I think you're right.
Huh.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't find a lot of Hermes products. I mean, Hermes is not a company that just sprung up yesterday. It's been around for a while. It's a very high-end product, especially back then. So you had to actually get it and be able to afford to get it.
Yeah.
And got it in France. I have no idea, but I found it. Jacob, do you know where that shitty thrift store is on 82nd? The one that's like Sandy and 82nd. It's called like it's like half price on Wednesdays. It's like the shittiest thrift store ever.
I stay away from that area.
Yeah, I found it in
because
there.
of that thrift store particularly.
You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it in there.
Oh wow. Yeah, you just never know what's gonna end up in what place.
I know, but yeah, there's just they just put all the perfume in a thing, and 95% of perfume you'll find out in the field is Avon.
Yes.
And Avon stuff sucks. Everything
Oh.
Avon sucks.
I was gonna say what stuff. Okay, so Chanel, Hermes. What else should we be looking for? Chanel.
I would say Gucci. Yes.
I mean, any of those.
So just
when
go.
you think of like runway, famous designers, if they've got a fragrance, it's probably worth snagging, especially if it's cheap.
Yeah, and it's sold. It's actually its value is based on how many ounces are in there. So if you can make an estimate on how many ounces, you can pretty fairly estimate the value. I mean, this stuff, it's got an alcohol base, so unless
you could drink it and get fucking shit faced too. Worst case scenario, if you can't sell it.
Holy shit!
Sperm whale. Everyone knows that sperm whale earwax makes raccoons go crazy. So.
That's not true, right? I just don't write it down between.
So call me, baby. Oh, I just met you.
What?
Like,
It's for smartphones.
I'm gonna be hunting for freaking perfume now, man. Jeez.
That's what I mean.
so this is what I would do. Thrift shop. What I would do is get those main names: Gucci, Givenchy, Chanel, and like Versace.
Yeah.
So just pick 4 or 5, and then look at solds, highest, and just go through a couple of pages and just get that visual, because that's what you do. We all do that. You get that visual lock, and then you'll see like, wow, that ridiculous colored pink and blue Givenchy from the 90s. Wow, that goes for $95 a bottle. There's a bottle of it. It's $3.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Every estate sale that I've ever went to here in Los Angeles has perfume. Every single one of them.
Yeah. Have I convinced you that it sells for good money, or you just think?
Well, I haven't. Well, no. I haven't looked at comps, but I mean, what you guys are saying makes sense to me, and I see that stuff all the time. I've been passing it up for years, so there's that.
How often do you estate sale?
Oh, I don't go that often. I maybe go like maybe a couple times a month. That maybe a couple of them. I don't. My whole thing is yard sales and garage sales in here in Southern California are like are the shit, dude. To be honest, like there's so many different things you can find there. Estate sales are more. To me they feel like a lot of the people that are there that run those things, they know what they have. So you're going to pay a higher price.
I think that's a really strong misconception, and it's holding you back from doing really well at estate sales.
You're probably right.
And your sample size is way. No, I'm trying to help them. I'm not.
No. I totally agree with you, man. Because I do estatesales.org, and I'm sure everyone looks at that. And there's tons of estate sales in Southern California that I look at. I go and look through the photos and all that, and I'm pretty sure there's just like a ton of stuff. But what I'm saying is garage sales and yard sales here, there's tons of them every weekend, and people are just want to get rid of shit, dude. Like, but I'm not going to find like Chanel perfume at those kind of places. Estate sales, older people, that's the stuff you want to find that kind of stuff at.
Well, I think there's, with your estate sales, you're just going to run into different stuff, and you've probably maybe seen a pattern with certain estate sales. I know which estate sales price up which categories of items. There's certain estate sales that price up furniture. There's certain estate sales that price up electronics. There's certain estate sales that price up tools. And so if you see the estate sale that doesn't know anything about tools and they're selling an entire garage of tools, you need to be there.
Right.
Stuff's going to be dirt cheap.
That makes sense. That makes sense for sure. In Portland, where you guys are at, is there tons of estate sales too, like it is in Southern California? There's tons of that stuff every weekend here.
The winter, it kind of slows down a little bit in Portland, I found.
Oh, okay.
Or in Seattle, not Portland.
25 to 30.
We have, I would say there's an average of...
You changed your freaking hat, dude.
I'd say there's an average of 15 estate sales per weekend. And this summer we had weekends where, 28 estate sales between Thursdays, because we'll get them starting on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So you can be a full-time estate sale picker here. Jacob's an expert, and he really is more. He's more into going later and getting what's been picked over, and he has a special. He has a very broad. Probably is more broad than
So
I
Jacob,
am.
do they give you guys discounts like when you go later? I've never been to like the tail end of a estate sale. I've never done that before.
When you go to the tail end of the estate sale, it turns into a garage sale.
Ah,
Yes.
They will wheel and deal. They want to get it gone.
gotcha.
So you can bundle and you can negotiate more easily. That's where I've done some buyouts on like this guy who was a boat part repair person. This person who had a semi-truck and trailer repair business. I just bought out all the new old stock inventory and made like over 10 grand off of $300 purchase.
And that's NOS for any newbies out there.
So true.
Does that have something to do with raccoons?
Yes.
Is that like a British hat or like a United
I picked
Kingdom
this
hat?
up. See, Jacob was a little bit too lazy. He woke up a little bit too late. And I went to an estate sale. So this is a Dutch policeman's hat.
Dutch.
Yeah, it's Dutch. It says, I'll read it to you.
Oh boy, here we go.
Arnhem Bakkerstraat 75, and their telephone is 22228.
Wow, you guys get the shit I just like laugh at when I walk by. That's the great.
So this is a serious bolo. This hat is going to sell for between $65 and $85.
Awesome. How much did you pay for it?
One.
No way.
What I love about this group of people right here is that all four of us could walk into an estate sale and we would all we'd spread. We'd be like, okay, see ya. Like
we totally would.
Wouldn't even be looking at the same shit.
Yeah,
there wouldn't be anything left.
Oh yeah, we'd pick that shit clean.
My neighbor, he's a little bit down on his luck and told stuff in the past, and I was trying to help him out, so I brought him to this estate sale, and he's like trying to find me to ask me questions or something, and I told him before, like,
fuck off.
Don't talk to me.
Like, I don't have time. Like, I'm going in to make money. After I'm done, I have to go work. So, like, if I'm in line checking out or whatever, like, come and ask me questions, or after you buy the stuff. But, like, you need to stop with being a cheap ass and buy it, make the mistakes, and get it done. Like, I'm not going to be your babysitter.
This is RuPaul's Drag Race, and he is not here to make friends.
Call him Mr. Raider. Call him.
Could you imagine if four of us went to a estate sale? We'd be like the Fantastic Four, and literally, like you said, just go boop.
And no one would be able to get into any room because we'd just be like.
Yeah. I would have already paid Jacob to do like strong arm the doorway.
Tie your shoes for 10 minutes, Jacob.
Just like you forgot how to tie your shoes. You had a head injury. Like, no one can discriminate against you. It's okay.
Dude, that's like next level reselling shit that you said that you do that, man. That is meta as hell, dude.
I want your guys' opinion about this right here.
That is freaky as shit right off the bat.
I saw this. This was $1 today. It's a pin cushion.
It looks like Michael Myers, dude.
There's a tag.
It looks like my butt.
Made by an American Indian.
Yeah.
Are you muted?
It was probably like a souvenir thing from like a side of the road, New Mexico,
Right.
like, drive-through souvenir thing.
I would not buy that kind of thing. No.
I would not have bought that either.
Jacob likes garbage, though. It's really.
Hey, man.
People buy it. I mean,
And on this show,
exactly.
the host will put you down.
It's like, no, that's shit.
You buy garbage. Go home.
You guys don't
Feel
know this.
bad.
but Jacob's actually my co-host. So I get to. That's why I have him here, so I can insult him.
he
Like,
gets to berate me.
all I could think of is like muffin top every time I see Jacob. No.
He's just gonna. It's gonna devolve. People are just gonna start calling him cranberry, like cranberry muffin.
It's delicious. It's flavored, actually, depending on the week.
So wait, I mean, pink cushions, that's a whole other niche that I've never even.
I don't know shit about
Yeah,
pincushions.
exactly. That's probably there's probably some amazing pink cushion finds out there for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody knows about them. In the chat, Nicole States says she wants to see that video. I'm not sure exactly what video she's talking about, so maybe she'll like jump in and tell me what video she's
I
talking
think she
about.
might be like back a ways. I'm not sure if she's watching like where we are right now.
I was gonna say like she is up late if she's like
I know. She's
Okay.
so
I just found some. Hold on. I just looked up vintage pin cushions
oh shit.
and sorted by highest price.
No.
$200
Wow.
for a Hitler pin cushion.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Fuck that.
That I would have bought. I would have bought a Hitler pin
I
cushion.
don't want to look at Hitler.
So just from what I'm seeing, this is probably like a $25 to $30 pin cushion.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It looks like Michael Myers, dude.
It's got a tag on it.
It's like leather face. It's like leather face.
That's what you're buying. You're buying that tag. This
But for
Okay.
$200, you could have a Hitler pin cushion. I
Dude, the
mean,
hairs. Look at that hair. That's just disturbing.
that's the worst hair ever.
It looks like
That's
it's
unfortunate as fuck.
What's unfortunate is someone is going to pay $30 and be happy.
Okay, wait. So where did you find this and how much did you pay? That's the real question here.
I paid $1 for this.
Yeah, that's about right. Nice. Yeah.
I think that you should just market
Yeah!
that as a Hitler.
Oh shit!
Just saying, like that could be Hitler.
I'll make it.
call a
I'll make
Hitler
it.
pin
Oh, his
cushion.
hair is falling off.
I'll make it German if I have to.
Put a little thing on it.
We can do this right now.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Just move the
I
header.
$200 OBO sold.
Just pull out. Yeah, you pull out the Sharpie and put a little. What is that? What is the type of mustache that is
I
called?
think it's called the Hitler mustache now.
Yeah.
It's called.
You
can't have-
guys, my friend Tony found what is it? I'm so tired. A Nazi jacket at a state sale in Portland a couple weeks ago.
No way.
There's Nazi stuff all over Portland. I find it all the time.
Yeah, she bought it and she put it on eBay and it got kicked off, but it had
Yeah.
the bidding went crazy on it. Like it was up to like $400 and then somebody messaged her and was like, I'll buy it from you right now for $6. And she was like, no, I'm going to like hold out at the end of the auction. And then it got taken down right after. So clearly that guy like flagged it, you know?
Yeah, you can't
What
sell
did she
Nazi
do with
perf.
it? How is she gonna like where?
I don't know if it's good for
sell
your
that
like
on
your, like
Craigslist.
soul or something to sell Nazi crap.
It's actually just like, I mean, I shouldn't say this on YouTube. Someone's going to take it the wrong way.
So
It's like
stop.
hanging out. It's in my office right now because she left it there because she was like super mad. So it's
So
like,
when we come to your office, we're gonna see you marching around, putting on orders.
I don't, yeah, this is,
Oh boy,
How quickly?
no.
no, you're not. But like for real, she found it at an estate sale. And I was like, don't buy that. Like, you can't buy that. And
I
like
would've
left
bought
the
it, too.
room. And then she bought it.
I
Something.
wonder if you could sell it on Etsy. I wonder how Etsy feels about that.
Well, my grandfather was in World War II, and he had a ton of like he was in D-Day, and he had a ton of like Nazi paraphernalia that he got from like World War II. So it's like there's a huge market for that, but you cannot sell that on eBay. They just don't allow that at all. Any
Yeah.
Nazi stuff.
Yeah, I mean, also like your account or your accounts are kind of you and your reputation and what you sell and what you do. You know, everything that you do on the platform is linked to you in a certain way. And me personally, I wouldn't want my account associated with any sort of Nazi
Oh,
regalia.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure. I gotta piss.
Associated with like fascist regalia. So,
No, for real.
this hat is just Dutch. It's just Dutch. That's all.
No, don't worry. No one's making any accusations here.
Tony's like a super good person, but she's also just like, well, I can make money off of that.
That's.
I got in trouble on my show with Crystal that we were talking about Halloween costumes, and I was just throwing out there different things that you can find in thrift stores to make Halloween costumes. And we got a couple like nasty comments about cultural appropriation. And I was like, I'm not here to tell you how to be a good person. Like, I'm just telling you, if you're trying to make money, this is something you can do. Like, you need your own moral compass. Like, I'm not here on YouTube to tell you not to do things that are fucked up. Like, you should know that as it is. And if you don't listen, then, you know, just saying, you could sell these things and make money. I'm not saying you should dress up as insert, you know, costume here. That's all.
You handled that very well.
Yeah.
I think like history is a really fine line, and I'm gonna get like some sort of negative PR for this, but like I've been to like Holocaust museums, and they have this stuff because they want you to remember what happened, right? Like we can't just destroy all of history and make it seem like it never happened. Like
there is a line for sure.
There's like a line here that you have to figure out like what you're okay with and not okay with. But I don't think that things should just be destroyed because they happened, and we need to remember that they happened so they don't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but I agree with you there. I totally and absolutely agree with you. The remembrance of all of those things, but like I personally, like, I wouldn't be involved in the trade of like elephant ivory or like bear paws or there's just certain things for me, and I'm not trying to like judge any. I mean, maybe I sound judgy, and I apologize if I do, but like I just wouldn't want those things associated with like the energy that I put out there into the space, because I really feel like I don't know. I just don't like. I just don't like.
I mean, there's all sorts of people that like. They said, and just like, you know, Thrift Shop Hustler said earlier, he won't do like the Ouija board thing. Like that's like a bad juju thing for him, right? And yeah, I'll do that all day long. Like everyone decides with their business what they are comfortable selling, what they don't like selling, what they don't want anything to do with. And I think that's one of the great things about owning your own business is you get to make those rules. And if you think that there's this bad vibe and bad things surrounding a Ouija board, you don't ever have to fucking sell one. And that's awesome. And I can sell all of them because it doesn't bother me. So, you know, I think that you get to make that decision, and nobody's here to tell you, no, you have to sell that item whether you like it or not. So,
but I might add, I will be looking for the ones that have the little wooden pieces now.
Oh yeah, see, now you don't mind a little bad juju for $100,
right?
I mean, similar to the high-end used condom market. I mean,
wow.
Pretty.
Back in the day, used panties were like there was like a whole trade in like weird used panties on eBay, but not like used because they were like fashionable, used because they were.
Yeah, I don't think you can sell that stuff anymore.
Shut it down.
They sell shoes. Some women sell shoes though.
That's like against the rules now too. The like
well-worn. But they get around it. There's a whole subculture.
It has to go into the adult section.
There is the adult section, which has some really cool stuff in it sometimes.
What?
Yeah, it has like really cool, weird old porn.
Can you
Hi, my name is Kayla. This is what I'm into.
I would like you. Can you give us an example of at least two?
Oh, honey, I can give you like a dozen examples.
Let's start with two.
No, so a lot of it is like, 1950s or earlier, especially gay porn, which was, super taboo. And so to see that, which is something you would see now, and a lot of people would be like, yeah, okay, that's whatever. But in a time when it was extremely taboo and looked down upon and, really bad at the time, to see, some of these people and they look really happy and like, they're like, yeah, I'm naked and doing whatever. And so I feel like the juxtaposition of knowing the time when this was happening and how carefree the pictures are, I feel like that's really interesting. And I think that's kind of cool. I appreciate that as an art form. And like, pinup and burlesque 1950s and earlier, nude photography or porn or whatever you want to call it, I think is really cool and really interesting. And I have all sorts of really weird and fucked up art in my house. Like,
so Kayla,
from that.
I'm gonna go in the next estate sale and be like, hey, you got any vintage gay porn?
Yeah.
I was looking for that. You got any of that stuff?
Like the old stag magazines and the old gay magazines that they used to have are worth a lot of money.
Oh, I'm sure
Like
they are.
vintage smut is big money.
I've got some smut from the turn of the century. It's like a lot of like gay smut that just it was like in an attic in a house, you know, like buried under a bunch of stuff. But they're like daguerreotype. I mean, they're like tin types almost. You know, they're
That's
like
so cool.
very photography, and it's like it's well like the compositions are really good.
I love the subculture in picking. I love that, like, the layer below the layer that people usually look at. Like, I just think that's really cool. I like the nitty gritty. I like the stuff that's typically looked over, or the weird and the ugly. Like, I just have a real appreciation for it. And I feel like if people don't have appreciation for it, it's going to disappear completely. And I think that would be a real bummer.
Absolutely. I had the same I'm always looking for things that I've never seen before, and that's like I'm replacing like things that suck in my inventory with things I've never seen before, you know? So like I guess all of my inventory is becoming like a long tail, but yeah, when you have so much of it, it sells.
So that's that's reselling for you. You can sell an Eileen Fisher sweater all day long, or you can sell vintage gay porn. And you know what? God bless America.
I went to a wedding today, and the mom of the bride is like 90 years old. She was adopted, and I don't know. Either way, she's like 90 years old, and she's like literally can't figure out how to use a phone. And every time she's trying to like use her phone, Trish like makes fun of her mom. She's like, yeah, every time she texts me, she also calls me to make sure I got the text.
That's so cute.
But like, if you think about it, like this is like crazy that we live in this time period.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just going to get crazier too as we get older. Like the things that we think now are like amazing, they're going to be like floating cars and like transport, like teleportation and shit. We're going to be like, remember the day when we drove cars to go to the liquor store? You know what I mean? Like, we're just like, now we just teleport there now. Old man, shut up.
They can already make like holograms of people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Absolutely, and augmented reality is becoming part of like a lot of circles now, like augmented reality and all these other crazy.
Yeah, I was actually heavy into Eye of Judgment, which is a PlayStation 3 game, and that was like really the first like mainstream augmented reality. For those that don't know, you just scan something with a QR code or whatever, and then it would pop up a 3D image or whatever. But now like a lot of companies are utilizing that for marketing. I know Star Wars was doing that. Toys R Us was doing that recently. So yeah, there's a lot of crazy things going on with technology these days.
eBay has this whole eBay is like the weirdest company ever. And at the eBay Open, I went to the eBay Open, and they had a whole augmented reality thing where you could take an eBay product and put it into a space and then like have a virtual reality interaction with that space. And they thought that was a good idea.
Did you do that with truck nuts by any chance? You're like, I'm going to put these truck nuts right here.
That was the first thing he did. Are you kidding me?
See how the gold truck nuts look on my pink drop top.
Oh boy.
Nicole is like, what in the fuck?
She's like, I just want to talk about women's clothing.
No, I just like, I know more than you do about this right now, and I can't say anything.
Do you know the people? I went into an estate sale in Northeast Portland, and there was a pallet of truck nuts.
What?
That's not what she was talking about, but okay.
This is way better. This is great. What?
So, Nicole State, what is the inside scoop of eBay's truck nuts?
I don't know. What is a truck nut?
No,
you know what truck nuts are, don't you?
No.
I I didn't know either. They had to explain it to me. Then I realized what it was.
On the back of trucks, you know, some people hang the little like silicone balls.
That's still a thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
apparently.
I want to give a shout out to Jacob's wife or girlfriend who's been standing back there like laughing the whole time. We want to say,
actually working right now. I'm listing. So
are you really?
Oh,
Good woman. While we all sit around here like jerking off about truck nuts.
Fuck
panel-
around for
the
3
panel-
hours.
The panel wants to say hello to the mystery woman in the background.
Hi.
if you saw our first video, I had like crazy makeup on and I scared Corey. You should go watch.
It was pretty amazing, actually.
I'm still recovering. I actually I got therapy and I'm starting it on Monday. So.
Wow.
My husband keeps like popping into the chat and then he came to like bring me water and stuff. Like, it's great.
Like,
This is very pampering.
You're like, where are the ice cubes?
Excuse
no ice
me.
cubes in
Is
that.
this from the tap?
Goodness, it's not even filtered.
It's not even Avion.
You didn't go mountain melt. No.
I don't think he's doing any measurements for me or anything right now.
Well, you need to get him whipped into shape.
Jesus.
I'll teach you.
I think he's.
Wait, only Kayla gets that. I forget.
Her new,
I got that.
Nicole's new Patreon project is how to whip that boy into shape.
How to whip your husband into shape.
Where is Joe? Is he sleeping? He's probably like enjoying a nice sleep
You
right
think
now.
he gets his like he is working?
Oh, he's working right now? No way.
Yeah.
Crazy. I work late nights too.
Yeah, it sucks when he has to work this late. He wants to quit Intel again though.
No way. He just started that job.
I know, but now like our business is insane and it's only like getting more insane. And
You
I'm
guys-
like, well, my payroll is going to end up being more than he's making. And I'm like, I'm hiring people to replace you, but like we're spending more than you're bringing in, you know?
Yeah, but also you got to think about like, you know, you got to keep him on the level too. He's got to do what what he likes. And, you know, if that's what he wants to do, you know, you just got to work that all out for sure.
Absolutely.
You just got to tell him what you want him to do, and then that's good.
No.
That's it.
Exactly.
No.
Follow Kayla's
Not what to do.
smarter than all of us. Definitely.
Listen to
So,
me.
me. But so you just had Nicole. You just had this like crazy States Place explosion that is like.
So tired. Yeah.
I mean, this is insane. I mean, these are. How do you? I don't want to bother your brain, but it just seems like monumental. Like you're one of the people I follow like closely on social media, and there's very few.
I'm
It's
like really. I mean, I did like 20,000 in a week, like $20,000 in a week, and that was like insane. I'm tired, and that kind of growth is like hard to keep up with, sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, and it's clothing
Congratulations,
too.
anyway. We're all very proud of you.
Thanks, I love you guys. I couldn't do it without, you know, especially people like Kayla who text me every day when I would say like, I want to go crawl in a hole and die.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, but just leave me your business before you do it, and that's fine.
I feel like it's like a horrible thing to complain about, though. You know, like success is great, and it's been really amazing, and it's like very steady and growing, and it's good, and I'm like super proud of where I am right now. It's also really hard.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you're complaining to me. It sounds like you're really being real about what's going on, and
it's a scaling issue too. You got to figure out how to properly scale. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it happened really, really, really fast. Like the whole States Great thing, it looked like it was like an avalanche. And I mean, how can you prepare for that? I mean, no matter what you do, you still like if you do too much and there's too little, then you made a mistake. And if you do too little and there's too much, you made a mistake. So it's like,
There's like no winning right now. So, well, there's winning. I'm winning. But there's no like, so Joe and I had to have a conversation where we were like, okay, do we cap this? Like, so the Forbes article came out and then Emma did this whole promotion. And then we were like, okay, should we cap it? Like, should we stop selling? And it was like, well, that's a bad business move. Like we can't stop.
Well, this is my honestly professional opinion here is capping might be a good idea because then it introduces kind of like a scarcity kind of thing to it too.
Yeah.
Right.
But I feel like for me, capping isn't a good idea.
Sure.
There's a lot of competition. And it'd be so easy for somebody else to come in and do exactly what anyone can do what I'm doing. It'd be so easy for somebody
they're not though. That's the thing. You're ahead.
They will be.
Yeah, not yet, but
they will be. And so if I want to do this and I want to do it right, like I have to run literally like 10 paces in front of everybody else and just go as hard as I can. And that just means like bringing on people as quickly as I can and getting it done. And I thankfully have like super good friends who have been staying up all night with me and like getting the work done and sending in people who can help me and just figuring it out because I'm still getting, 20 or 30 subscribers every single day right now.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? Wow. That is so fucking impressive.
And it's not just resellers. Like I'm seeing where they're coming from and it's just like the marketplace, like the Create Joy market, like they're coming from all over the place. And so I have to just figure out how to scale at the same time.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Scaling is going to be the thing. And you need to like, I've been in this business for a long time and I'm going to say you're going to get to a point where you don't want to piss people off. So you gotta find where that happy medium is where you're doing good to your customers, but you're not stressing yourself out. Do you know what I mean? You got to find where that scaling balance is. So like maybe cutting it off might be the option because you don't want to overextend yourself and then people just be pissed off about like not getting stuff in time. Cause I've done crates before. And the major thing that people complained about was I didn't get my crate in time. Where's my crate? Like this and that. And that all comes down to the scaling issue. So I think for my professional opinion is the scaling issue is where you need to really start to like put the magnifying glass on and figure out where you want to be.
Yeah, you're right.
It's all about building systems and being able to grow into those systems. Obviously, like you had a place to grow into. That's like one of the slickest business moves ever is like being able to scale, especially space-wise. You opened a door to check and moved in. That's to be in that position. Not a lot of people have that, Nicole. It's really.
I'm super like I have everything I need. Like I have the inventory coming in that I need. I have the space, and I'm starting to get the employees, and I'm realizing like what I need to do as far as like storage and organization. And so it's all coming along. It's just like I know these first couple months are just like the months that are gonna be hard, but if I can get through them and like push through it, it's going to be okay.
Right. These first months are going to be a litmus test where you can see exactly where you're going to be to predict the future things. Because like I said, I did a crate thing too. And eventually you're going to run into supply issues. Right now, it might seem like your supply is good. You're good for another month. You're good for another 2 months, but you need to start thinking like a year, 2 years. Am I going to have that supply? So that was some of my issues too. When I started doing it long-term was supply issues.
Why did you stop doing it?
I stopped doing it because it just, there was really no interest. I mean, I was doing it for my Patreon, for my Evilo stuff. And it was, okay. So the crate I did was a vintage crate. People got like vintage stuff from the 80s, like packs of baseball cards and like, elf cards. You know what I mean? It was like it was a vintage box. But eventually for me, the kind of like thing that screwed that whole up was sourcing. So the capping of it might be a good idea because then you can stretch that out to the month after, the month after, the month after. If you're just opening it up for everyone, you're going to have a supply issue down the road. Does that make sense?
You're assuming that subscriptions will stay the same and that there isn't a viral nature to what you're doing. So you also need to take those things into account as well.
Exactly, and that comes down to a supply issue and a scaling issue.
If she has space, she can have supply though.
Yeah, so it's like one of those things where it's tough. Like I've been in her shoes as far as like making people happy, having supply, and coming out with consistent quality. It's hard because, you know, for Nicole, do you think you have enough stuff to last like a year at your current rate?
Yeah, and I'm adding to it, so I don't want to really say like on air what I'm doing.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. Like, obviously, like privately, but I have some really good systems in place, and I'm working with like people, and like supply isn't gonna be the issue.
Okay.
Or I don't see it being the issue in my case, at least. What I see is definitely just packing the crates is really time consuming.
So you're saying the logistics is where you want to look at for sure. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can always up the price of your crate at some point to kind of mitigate the enormous growth.
Yeah, so there's like pros and cons there. So I've done a lot of research about like crates that are successful and like how they do it. Basically, like your first month, you're kind of like, okay, you're giving it away, like you're getting people into your subscription. And then the real money comes when they keep subscribing and they keep renewing, and those renewal fees hit every month. And so like my price point, I think, is pretty much like pretty game on for what I'm doing. And I think if I go up any higher, then I'm going to have to get better quality items as well. And then that also becomes a sourcing issue.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously,
I think the strategy of like using price to avoid those sourcing issues, like that's pretty awesome.
I didn't mean to just come take over the show.
No, that's what this is. Just an open thing.
We're all really glad you're here. So.
Yeah, no. Corey was talking about freaking truck nuts, dude. He wants to talk
That's
about
awesome, though. Are you guys coming to the holiday party?
I am.
I'm a loser. I don't think I can travel to that. No.
Yeah, I'm not able to this year. Or
What? You're local.
You're local.
Well, I mean, as not California local, but
It's in Portland.
oh, I'm not even aware of this.
He's like, no, I can't go to Hawaii. Sorry, guys.
It's in Russia. We're gonna.
I was like, wow, like way to be like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
It's probably literally walking distance from your house, but you're not gonna make it. It's fine.
On 86th and Woodstock, because then yes.
Tell people where we live.
I'm coming to your house right now.
It's fine. We
I
won't.
want your pincushion.
You
It
live
is
in
downtown.
a great neighbor. You live in a very up and coming neighborhood. I just want to throw that out there.
We got
She's looking you up right now.
You live right by my friend. So my friend who owns that donut shop that I talk about all the time lives right by you.
Oh, Dough Donuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, check that place out. It
the
was
best
exceptional.
You liked it? Good.
But yeah, the holiday party is December 10th in. Can we say where it is yet, or?
I mean, I haven't signed the contract yet, but
Okay, yeah, maybe we shouldn't. But it's the 10th, and it's downtown.
Oh yeah, we'll be there for
Are
sure.
you guys gonna do like a hotel or like a lot? Like what is the venue? You don't have to tell me where it's at.
It's a restaurant.
It's a restaurant. You're gonna have
We're renting out the whole restaurant.
Oh, gotcha. That sounds like fun. I wish I can do that.
It's gonna be. We can get up to 100 people, and I think we're gonna have really close to that. So
Now,
we're gonna sell tickets because we do have to pay for the food.
Right. That's what
but
I was
the
gonna
tickets
ask.
are not going to be like exorbitant or anything. We're not charging like crazy money.
I
Like,
think the tickets are gonna have to be like $30.
I think that's about right. Yeah, we're gonna crunch some numbers
30.
after we sign it, but I think that's about right.
And that's just to like break even.
I'm
Yeah, we're not
here-
trying to make money on on this at all.
Now my question is Joe going to dress up as Santa Claus and kind of come sit on his lap? If
Yeah,
he
no,
does
he
I
that?
hope so. I hope so.
We already agreed.
Part of this
Um,
money is going to go to Joe's Santa suit. So
It is his birthday pretty much too. So if you want to bring Santa presents, that's a thing.
and we can all sing happy birthday to Joe, which I'm sure he will love.
Have you met him?
Yeah, I know.
He
That's
will
what I'm
be.
saying. There was no sarcasm in that. He will love that.
So
The only person in this chat I've met is Jacob. I haven't met anybody else.
Oh, you guys have met in person?
Yeah. I dragged-
Intimately. Do you know each other biblically?
oh my god. So wait, some Joe. So here's what you get, Joe. You get him a Sublime CD because he loves Sublime.
Yes, everyone buys Sublime things for Joe. He'll be so happy.
And bring him some truck nuts, Joe or Corey.
No, he might like the truck nuts. I'm not sure.
Oh god.
I don't have any, but I will get him some.
Well, did they really have a whole stack of them though?
Like seriously, like 1,000. Like a whole pallet. It's
Like they tried to like private label some truck nuts and like FBA sent them back? Or?
the whole story is like it was like a high-end house in Irvington. So there was like like art and artifacts and like high-end clothing, and you walk down in the basement and there's like a stacked pallet of truck nuts.
I just looked them up on Amazon.
No, you did it.
At the top, no, I totally. They have a barcode. I scanned them. They were like $14.99 or something. They wanted $1.
They have ones you can put on your keychain, so you can carry your truck nuts around with you.
Accessorize your truck nuts with other.
You can you have the whole, and then they come in so many colors. And for $68, you can buy ones with LED in them, and they actually light up.
Are you kidding me?
$68.
What are like standard flesh colored truck nuts going for on Amazon?
$14. I'm looking at them right now.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a deal for
Between $9 and
$1.99.
The
$14.
price has not changed since last year, then, because that was like last summer.
They're a commodity.
Do you see the merchant fulfilled by me?
Here we
Share
go,
that
guys.
screen. Yeah, there you go.
Let's see what you want.
Just pick one.
What is this?
Oh my god.
The texture is so vivid.
Oh, I bet they feel great.
Is there electric truck nuts?
And then there's this take apart crane truck.
Somebody fucks up their keywords on that one.
Or did they? Or did they?
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Do they make? I mean, I know the answer to this is yes, but do they make a nut stress ball?
Hey, that's a good idea.
Ooh, I'm gonna look that up.
I want truck nuts.
R.I.P. Nicole's search history after this.
Yeah, I know. She's like Stretch Armstrong.
Oh yes,
nuts.
they do. Oh yes, they do.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
On Amazon, even. They're not that impressive, I must say, though.
What's the can you elaborate some of the brand names in that region?
One of them is called My Sack. My Sack, Smack a Sack Stress Balls.
Oh my god.
iSack would be funnier, like one that it's like a Bluetooth speaker. It's
Smack a Sack.
Oh my god.
Built up frustration and tension. Grasp top firmly and smack vigorously. You'll feel so much better after you smack a sack.
So basically, when your significant other won't give you any, you can release some stress with your.
Unless your significant other is a female, and then maybe this won't be that usual. Yeah, no, maybe not a good idea.
yeah, I mean it's hard to bust some balls.
So basically, the moral of the story is everything exists.
And we can sell it.
You can find a pair with a suction cup that attach under your desk, so you have desk balls.
You can tickle them.
And then you
You
can
can
tickle
tickle-
them or give them a squeeze, or if you need some
Will you buy
encouragement.
those for me for like my office?
There's
one?
gonna be a white elephant.
Yeah, that'd
Oh
be
my
good.
God.
We're gonna do white elephant, I think, for the reseller holiday party, and somebody is getting truck nuts. That's all I'm saying.
Watch out for that pincushion.
And I'm gonna wrap it. This is just between the 5 of us here because I'm gonna wrap it in something that looks really cool, but it's actually gonna be truck nuts.
What is that?
Salt and pepper shaker with like a dog peeing on a.
That's a great white elephant gift.
Yes, I thought so.
Oh my God.
Have you guys seen the cigarette dispenser where it like comes out of a dog's ass? It's like a little Bakelite
Oh
dog.
my God, this show has gone to shit.
Oh my god. Demonetization.
Oh yeah, you can't monetize this.
Yeah, don't monetize this shit. We've talked about way too much.
I don't care about that.
Now, this is going to be your best show ever.
It's
Every
3
show
hours
is
long.
the
I'm
best
leaving.
thing ever.
It's
Last
1 o'clock in the morning, you fucking nut people.
Well, I haven't ended it because you guys won't shut up.
That's true.
Got estate sales to hit.
I don't go
know.
to a Sunday's family day for me, so I don't do any estate sales on
What's
Sunday.
more family orienting than an estate sale?
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna go to an estate sale tomorrow. You guys have me thinking about. Oh, there's like none. Fucking
I'm-
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to sleep in and enjoy my morning for sure.
Inappropriate.
All right, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm officially calling it on someone else's channel.
Yeah.
Yep,
We will
it's
do this
done.
again where we can really talk about stuff.
Absolutely. Chris, Jacob, Kayla, Nicole, thank you guys all for coming on the channel. I really appreciate all of you. You all do great things for the community, and I'm glad to see you all. Hopefully we'll see you guys again. I'm going to stop the broadcast.
Good night.
All the love.